Hello, language warriors. Good morning. Sorry about starting a few minutes late. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. It is Thursday, June 8th. It's 9:18 a.m. here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And once again, it looks like it is a very, very mild week of weather. It is only 16 right now. And the high today will be 24, which is not too bad. It's really, really mild weather for this time of year here, I think. All right, welcome to Mark's Pronunciation Station. This is where I want to try to help you with your pronunciation specifically. Like what are your pronunciation problems and how can I help you to figure them out? So, we're going to do that in just a few minutes. You need to raise your hand, though. You have to raise your hand to come on the stage if you want my help. Okay? Hello, Akito. Hello, Jude Dan. Hello, Rikita. Hello, Razia. And Tanya. Hello, good morning. Good evening to you. Hello, Naldi. Hello, Gunter. 5 weeks without rain. Wow, that's crazy. We had a little bit of unexpected rain yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yesterday evening. Or no, 2 nights ago. It was, 2 nights ago. And it was really unexpected. So that's how the weather, I feel like it's just becoming much, much more unpredictable here. At least not, you can't base weather predictions as much on the past because everything is changing too much. So it has nothing to do with the past anymore. So, how is everyone today? Hello, Raham. Let's see, who do we have with us? Hello, Melissa. Hello, Jeffrey Cho. Hello, Joar. Hello, Razia. And Fatima. And Angel Sepp. Hello. Hello, Hussein. Hello, Juan Carlos, my friend. How are you? Hello, Gina. Hello, Nisiro. Hello, is it Yuichi? Is that how you pronounce it? I think it's Yuichi. Hello, Sakura and Makiko. Lots of people in Japan joining me today. Great. Konnichiwa. Hajimemashite. Hello, Letty and Alward and Joey. Hello, Hawaii. Nguyen in Vietnam. Xin chào. Hello, Yumi and Sylvia. Hello, Claudiane. Bom dia. Reham, today's class is all about your pronunciation. So I'm going to invite people on the stage and I will help them with their pronunciation. Okay? Let me turn these lights down a little bit. There we go. Gunter says, for pronunciation, some say no kiddin'. Is it slang? It's not slang. When you drop the G on things, Gunter, that's what I would call a colloquialism or a dialectical affectation, maybe. But basically, it's just a cuter way to say it. So instead of saying I'm kidding, you just say I'm kidding. It's just like instead of saying I am walking to the store, you say I'm walking to the store. Okay? It's somewhat common in English to do, right? Like, for example, I often use the word gonna, Gonna, which is going to. Gonna means going to. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you that. Got it? Similar to that. Okay, Akito, that's okay. You can come on stage later when you're free. That's right, Reham. Gonna means going to. That's right. All right. Hello, Koresh. Well, let's see who would like some help with their pronunciation right now. Raise your hand if you want to come on stage and have me help you with your pronunciation. Going to always needs a form of to be. I think so, Gunter. It's always hard for me to answer grammar questions first thing in the morning. I think so, Gunter. Yeah, I think going to is going to need a form of to be. Always. All right. Ah, right. I'm gonna tell you. Right. But again, gonna means going to. Right? So I'm gonna tell you means I'm going to tell you. So I guess, no, I think I understand your question now. I think I misunderstood your question before. So yeah, that's an example of where you don't need be. You could just say, I'm going to tell you, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go, I'm going to eat, I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna fly. So gonna doesn't always have to have be in that case, if that's what you meant. Is that what you were talking about, Gunter? Jana says, how can I understand every word at the English movie? Jana, you can't. You can't. Jana, I can't understand every word at the movie. Why? Why would that be true? Because not everyone in a movie speaks well. So, there are many, many, many people in movies who don't speak well. English movies are not made for teaching you good English. English movies are made for entertainment. So if you want to use movies to learn English, then you must choose the right movies for learning English. Not any movie. No. Can't do it. No. Okay? Choose a movie that's good for learning English. What movie is good for learning English? Well, you can think about two things. One, think about the actor and how they speak. Okay, choose an actor who speaks well, like Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is famous for his very clear voice, his great diction. Okay? So find every movie that Morgan Freeman has done. Okay? Or show or TV show or documentary, anything he's done. All right? And then the other way to think about it is consider that the subject of the movie. If you're watching a movie about space aliens, that movie's probably not going to be great for your English. If you're watching a movie about, a Fast and Furious 21 movie, then no, that movie is probably not going to help you with your English. Choose a movie that has a topic about life that's real with family and friends and work. That will have language that you can use. All right. But if you're talking about Jurassic Park dinosaurs or you're talking about Transformers, no. Okay. Yeah, so think of two things, Jana. One, think of what actor is in this movie and do they speak well? Two, what is the movie about? And are they talking about things that might be useful for my English learning? Okay? Wow, Juan Carlos. See, now that's why I need somebody like Juan Carlos who can think about grammar in the morning. I can't. I just can't do it. My brain doesn't. It's like math. I can't do math in the morning either. My brain isn't awake yet. I still need at least one full cup of coffee. Large cup of coffee. Hello, Belen. My lovely friend in Spain. How are you? Angel, what about music? The same thing is true for music, Angel. Music is not written for English learning, but it can be really good for English learning if it helps you and encourages you to want to learn English as a motivator, then it's good. But you need to remember, songs are like poetry. Songs are like poems. They don't need to follow any rules of grammar. Poems don't need to follow any rules of grammar. They can do anything they want in a poem. Okay? That's the way you should think about it. So songs are like poems. The words can be very, very grammatically incorrect, but they sound good in the song. Okay? Hello, Akas. You're doing taxes, yeah. Well, Belen, you can only, put it this way. Belen, I don't feel sorry for you. And the only reason I say that is because I am fairly certain that the American tax system is the worst one in the world. I'm fairly certain of that. If you've ever read an American tax form, that is the one thing that you will not be able to do when you come to America. Okay? No matter who you are. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care where you come from. When you come here and you have to do taxes, you will have a headache and you will be very, very confused. Why? Because every native person has a headache and is very, very confused when they do their taxes. Tax language is the worst language of all language. You should read what an American tax form is like. It hurts your head just to read 2 or 3 sentences. Artem says Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. He speaks very clear, in my opinion. I agree with that, Artem. So that is a good suggestion. You can look up Bryan Cranston, and yes, he did Breaking Bad, but he has been in many other shows in the past. So you could find out his movie history. Okay? Sugar Cube says, I prefer English documentaries. Gunter says the series Anne with an E is helpful to study. Disney movies are usually pretty good because Disney movies are meant for children. So they deliberately make the language slightly more simple often. And they usually, they do try to be particularly, they over-exaggerate pronunciations in Disney movies because they are cartoons. So as a voice actor, you must have a very clear voice. So that's a good suggestion. Disney movies are pretty good, usually. Hello, Porfirio. Hello, Rebecca. Hola. Sugar Cube, do you mean the Temptations? What is that? I don't know Temptations. Thank you, Kiki. How about the TV show MASH? Slice is asking about. Well, that's interesting, Slice. MASH is a TV show from the 1970s in America. It was popular in the 70s and 80s. And it's a show about the Korean War, I believe. I don't think it was about Vietnam. I think it was about Korea, if I recall. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me look it up really quickly so I don't sound stupid. Yeah, Korean War. I was right. Yeah. Okay. So it's about but it's not about the fighters in the war. It's about the doctors. So MASH is a TV show about military doctors and nurses that work in a military camp during the Korean War. And it's a pretty good show, but they do speak fast, Slice. They speak very fast. It's a comedy, and comedy often has very fast language because sometimes the speed with which you speak has something to do with the timing of the joke. So if you speak too slowly, the joke won't be funny. Okay? So I would say that's an interesting choice. I love that show. It definitely has some really good, poignant moments. Poignant moments means moments that make you think. You know, they had some good moments in that show. It was a comedy, but it was a serious comedy about war stuff and about, is war good? Is war bad? You know, what happens to people during war and all of those kinds of things. So it was actually a pretty challenging show when it came out. Hello in Kazakhstan. Jana, I see you want to know how to speak English well, but I can't tell you that. That's not a question that can be answered. Jana, how can I speak Arabic well? Can you tell me in 5 minutes everything that I need to know? You can't. It's an impossible question. You might as well ask me how you can fly. So, Jana, the first thing that you need to do if you want help is you need to know how to ask for help properly. So that means you need to understand what you need. What help do you need? And that means you need to know what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. Okay? If you have great reading and great writing, then you don't need to work on those. But you might need to work on your listening and your speaking. Those are your weaknesses. Okay? Now that you know your weakness, you can say, how can I improve my writing ability? How can I improve my speaking ability? Ask a question that can be answered. Okay? That's the most important part of getting help. Okay? I don't understand is okay, but it would be better if you finish the sentence. I don't understand because blah, 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 blah. Understand? I don't mean to say that rudely, Jana, but people come here every day and they ask me, how can I speak English perfectly? How can I be a fluent speaker? That's not a question. That's not a question, and you know it. You know that. Find a question that can be answered, and I am here to help you, and I can help you. Okay? If you were in the U.S., you'd like to work in the IRS, you like numbers. Well, one of my neighbors works for the IRS. She's been working for the IRS for like 25 years or something. Omar says just practice every day and be consistent. That's good advice, but it's very, very, very general, right? She's looking for specific advice. I know she wants specific advice. Hello, Carol. Hello, Carl. All right. I want to get somebody on stage, please. Let me get somebody on stage. If you want help with your pronunciation, today's live stream is about pronunciation. So if you have questions about other things, that's great, but not now. I'm trying to help you with your pronunciation right now. Okay, so if you want help with your pronunciation, raise your hand. Okay? All right, let's get Abdo. Hello, Abdo. How are you, my friend? Bonjour.
Hello. Hello, Mark. I'm very well. What about you?
I'm okay. I'm a little bit tired this morning, but I'm okay. So,
Okay.
Abdo, tell me, how can I help you with your pronunciation? What kind of problems do you have with your pronunciation of English?
Okay. First of all, I want you to listen to me, and you can you please judge me when I'm talking? If
Sure.
it is a problem with stress, intonation, connected speech, some pronunciation, something like that.
Okay. All right, so let's just talk. Tell me what you like to do for fun.
Okay. When I am free, I'd like to play football. I like to dine outside with my friends in a very good restaurants. We'd like to hang out together and enjoy our time outside home, because you know that home is very bad at some bored. We feel bored when we're at home if we don't work. So the most important thing for me is to find someone who I'd like to spend very good time with.
Okay. All right. Well, I already have a pretty good idea about your English. So, one, your English is already good. Okay? Abdo, you do not need to sound like me You just need to sound clear. And I understood every word you just said. Okay? Now, there were a couple of grammar errors that I heard, like small little grammar errors, but that's not important either because I still understood your meaning. Even if you made a couple of errors, your meaning was still 100% understood clearly. Okay? So, I heard a couple of grammar problems and I heard a couple of slight pronunciation problems. And one really interesting pronunciation fact, you also have slightly, partly a British accent and partly an American accent. Yeah. There are some words that you say that are a little bit British, and there are some words you say that are a little bit American, which is cool and interesting. But Abdo, that's actually not that uncommon anymore. It actually happens in China quite a bit. There's quite a few people in China who they've been learning kind of half and half British and American English. So some words they say it sounds a little bit more Brit, and some words they say it sounds a little bit more American. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. As long as they are clear, I don't care which one you use when you use it. It just has to be clear, right? But you live in France. What is your heritage? You have Arab heritage, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the reason why most people who speak Arabic, who are learning English, the most important sound they should focus on is the R sound. Because the American R sound and the Arabic R sound are different. The American R sound, your tongue is down and it's behind your front teeth. It's behind your teeth. So when you say American, like the word car, like you see, look how it's curled up, but it's not up against my the roof of my mouth. Watch, car. Look how my tongue is in the middle of my mouth, but you can't. It's not touching the top. But in the Arabic R, you have this, it's almost like the Spanish R, and it rolls up against the top of your mouth, right? So that's what you need to try to do is learn how to really focus on the word car.
Okay. Car. Is it clear?
That's
clear
pretty
right
good.
now?
Yeah, try it one more time. Car. Pretty good. Yeah.
Car.
Yeah, make your mouth really big. American English has a big mouth. So the bigger your mouth is, the more you will sound correct. I know it's weird, but it's totally true. So say, are you going to the park?
Are you going to the park?
Pretty good. Okay, now, when you said, can you say going?
Going.
Okay, pretty good.
Are you going?
That's
to the
better.
park?
Now, yeah, listen to the way that I say the word going. Now, here's another thing about English that you should think about. Different languages, I'm not thinking about the words at all. I'm just thinking about the rhythm of the language, right? And I'm a drummer, so rhythm is really important to me, right?
Yeah.
And some languages, the rhythm is very staccato, which means very short and sharp, right? So when I hear Vietnamese is very short and sharp and quick. Hindi is very short and sharp and quick. Arabic, it's a little bit short, but it does have some longness to it too, right? So there's two words that they're actually Italian words that we use in music. One is staccato, which means short and sharp, and the other one is legato, which means long and flowing. And English, there are some words that you want to try to make them more long and flowing. So try saying this, going to.
Going to.
That's better. Now, try to think almost more like you're singing. Going to.
Going to.
Good, but connect them more, the two words. Going to. Yeah.
Going to.
That sounds better. That's already much better. Yeah. So, when you're speaking English, if you're practicing a sentence, try to be more legato when you're practicing the sentence. So make it very flowing, right? Make it very
Yes.
flowing, right? So I want to go to the store. I could say I want to go to the store. That. But I say I want to go to the store. And I think, look how
Up and down.
yeah,
Up and down.
I'm making my hand like this so that you can see. I'm thinking about these long flowing waves in my words. Okay?
To attract the attention, yes.
Yeah. Miss Omnia wants to know, what does legato mean?
Tour. Yeah.
Legato.
I'm always,
Legato is a word. It's an Italian word, but it means long and flowing in music.
Yeah.
Okay. In music,
Yes.
it's a word we use in music, and this can help you because language is like music, right? So there are things about music that can help you to make your language sound better. This is one of them. Okay. If I sound like this, then this is very staccato. This is very legato. Understand?
yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, yeah, legato is like dance, right? Yeah. But dance can also have short, sharp moves too, right? So think about making your words more flowing, right? Now, you might not always speak like that, but in the beginning, it's useful.
Yes.
It's in the beginning, it's
Seriously.
useful. Okay?
Yeah, in order to not, get to stop when I talk. Yeah?
Right. Yeah. Right. And then, Abdo, the only other thing I would just say is if you want to sound more American,
Yes.
then you have to open your mouth more. Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
That's really all it is. So I know it will feel strange. It will feel awkward, but just try to say, where are you from? You're from France? Are you from Paris? Where are you from?
No. I am from Egypt.
Oh, okay.
But I have traveled to
Okay. So are you from Cairo or Giza or where?
Fayoum City.
Fayoum City.
But I-
Okay, so you can just say, hello, my name is Abdo, and I'm from Fayoum City. Can you say that for me?
Hello, I am Abdu and I am from Fayoum City.
Pretty good. Now I want you to think more legato. Hello, I am Abdo. I am from Fayoum City. Do you hear how all of my words are connecting and flowing?
Yes.
Try.
Hello, I am Abdu and I am from Fayoum City.
That was much better. That was much, much better. Yeah. So these are the kinds of tips that I give. They're not the tips that you hear from most books because I don't know anything about the International Phonetic System. I don't know anything about that. Most Americans don't. We don't learn by using the phonetic system like that. So Abdo, you just need to keep practicing that more. And every time you practice, think about being more legato, okay? I heard some improvement, but you're going to need to do it more if you want to have more improvement, okay? And, Abdo, I think that audiobooks might be very useful to you.
Okay.
Audiobooks or anything like a TED Talk where you can,
Okay.
when I want you to watch people and listen to the rhythm and the meter of their speech, meaning I want you to listen to, are they staccato or are they more legato? And
Okay.
are they making their words really flowing and connected or are they sharp and short? Try to listen to both audiobooks. Audiobooks are great because audiobooks, usually the voices are very flowing. Okay?
Okay, got it.
But TED Talks are also good.
Good observation, Mark. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Abdo.
you.
Anything else I can help you with?
No. I'm so thankful for you. You
You're
have
very
given me
welcome,
very
my
good,
friend.
useful ideas. Thank you.
You're welcome. Afwan. All right. Well,
Goodbye.
take care, my friend. Bye-bye.
And you too.
Okay, so that was a good start. That was a good start, right? See, look, I can help you with your pronunciation if you let me. Jasmine says, what kind of audiobook is best? I really think anything is fine, Jasmine. Whatever you are interested in, it doesn't really matter. Because any audiobook, hopefully they chose someone with a good voice to do the audiobook. Okay? So most audiobooks should have someone that was hired because they have a good voice. All right. Who else would like to come up and talk with me? Raise your hand if you'd like some help with your pronunciation. Hello, Andrew. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you, Jasmine. Hello, Lena. Let's see. We've got Penelopea. Well, that's an interesting name. And Cheney. Hello, Penelopea. Is
Hello,
it Penelopea
nice to
or
meet you.
just Penelope?
Yeah, Penelope, my name is.
Penelope. I just like your spelling. It's a unique spelling. I like that. It's cute.
Thank
And
you.
hello, Cheney.
Oh, hello, Mark. I'm Jenny.
How are
Nice
you?
to meet you here.
Nice to meet you, too.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah, good. Let's see. Penelope, what city are you in?
I'm living in Beijing.
Beijing. And you, Cheney, where are you?
I'm living in Nanjing.
In Nanjing.
Another
Okay.
city.
Beijing and Nanjing. Okay. All right. I know. Yeah.
Oh, the
North,
city, right?
south. Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's see. Penelope, let's start with you. Do you have any specific pronunciation questions for me today, or how can I help you with your pronunciation?
Oh, and Cherie, let's talk for a while, and you can see what's wrong with my pronunciation and English.
Okay.
And make a judgment with my pronunciation.
Sure. All right. So tell me, what kind of food do you like to eat?
Food. I like lots of food, like hot pot, cake, and so on.
See, now this is why I like to ask this question to Chinese people, because you don't know how to talk about your food. It's very, very, it's an interesting cultural difference, right? So, for example, if I ask a Chinese person what they had for breakfast, they'll just say, I had some pork and rice and vegetables. But if I tell you pork, rice, and vegetables, can you see that in your head? Can you see a clear picture of what pork did they eat? What vegetables did they eat? What rice did they eat? I can't see any picture. I have no idea what kind of pork it is. I don't know if it's cooked or uncooked, or I don't know what vegetable it is. Is it steamed? Is it baked? Is it roasted? I don't know if the rice is white or brown. Is it steamed rice or what? So it's a difference in how we talk about food, right? So an American will probably describe their food a little bit more fully. And so there you can draw a picture. You can see a picture in your mind of what they're eating. But why don't Chinese people talk about food the same way that American people do? What do you think? Penelope or Cheney? Why do Chinese people talk about food differently than American people?
I don't know either.
Cheney, do you have any ideas?
Why do Chinese people talking about food different with the American?
Yeah.
What kind of difference? Sorry, sir.
That's okay.
I didn't get it.
No,
I
so
think different culture.
it is a different
So-
culture, right? So the point is that China Chinese culture is much older, right? And for a long time in China, many people were very poor, and there was a lot of people who were very hungry, right? And if you're poor and hungry, then you eat anything. You don't talk about it like it's lovely, wonderful, like, ooh, what are we having for dinner tonight, Mom? Well, tonight I made this special roasted blah, 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 blah. No, when you're poor, you eat whatever you can, and that's great. So the way you talk about food is just very simple because that's the nature of the culture that you come from historically about food. It's changing now, though, because China's not poor like that anymore. So that's why I want to encourage you now. If you had a delicious meal, describe it in a delicious way. All right? If you had a simple meal, fine. Then describe it simply. But if you had something that was really yummy, then tell everyone about it and learn how. Okay? Now, another reason why I know this is true is because if you go to China and if you get a menu, an English menu, many times the English menus are really funny because the translations are really bad. Like really bad. It'll say like Chinese medicine flavor, that sounds good. Like, what do you want? Honey, what do you want to eat tonight for dinner? I think I'd like some of that Chinese medicine flavor hot pot. That doesn't sound good, but that's what it is. Like, I know in Chinese medicine, that thing, which I believe is called the jujube beans, they're common in some Chinese food, and it is a Chinese medicine. But no American wants to eat medicine for dinner. So the way you describe it is just different. You're telling us what it is, but you're not telling us that it's yummy. Right? So, Penelope, food is a really fun way for Chinese people to practice their English. So, for example, Penelope, can you tell me what did you have for dinner tonight?
Dinner, rice and vegetables and some meat.
See? Look, she did exactly what I told you. She said, I had some meat and vegetables and rice. But Penelope, I cannot see what that means. What kind of meat? Was it horse meat? Did you eat horse meat? Did you have squirrel meat? Did you have turtle meat? What kind of meat did you eat? Was it chicken? Was it pork? Was it beef? What was it?
Let's go to the first question. You mentioned what's the favorite food for me, and I want to say I like my mother cooks, and this is my favorite food because she cooks food for me every day, and she gets up very early to cook food for me, and every morning then I can feel her love for me.
That's really, really great. That's wonderful. But see, if she wakes up early to cook delicious food for you, then you should learn how to talk about it in a delicious way, right?
Yeah, right. That's right.
That's what I'm trying to say. So if she woke up and made you breakfast, then tell me how awesome it was. Right? So if I cook for you, Penelope, this is important. In America and in the West, I think, if someone cooks for you, they're showing you how much they love you. So if they cook really wonderfully for you, then they love you a lot. If they just say, here, eat this, then they don't really care about you that much, right? So yeah, when I cook food, and I love to cook. So when I cook food, yeah, I talk about it like it's delicious because it is. So this is just a good example of a great way for Chinese people to practice English because it's so important. Americans do talk about food in a very specific and delicious way, and you have to learn how to change from just saying I had some meat and vegetables and rice. Like you got to tell me it was steamed white rice by Fan, right? Steamed white rice. And you could say it was steamed or maybe sautéed kongxing sai, or you could say it was let's see. I know. 3-cup chicken, you could say that. That's something that does translate pretty well, right? That one does translate. So if someone says 3-cup chicken, what does that mean? You can just tell them the 3 flavors that are in the main flavors in it, and they'll be like, ooh, that sounds pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. So, but there are also a lot of words that you can learn. Penelope, I remember when I went to the Asian market once with my Chinese friends, and I wanted to learn about the vegetables, like what is this called and what is that called? So I'm walking around and asking them, and they would say, oh, that one's called gao li cai, and that one's called bai cai, and that one's called bo cai, and that one's called kongxing cai. And I'd say, what's that one called? And they'd say, I don't know, it's something cai. There are so many vegetables in China that I think sometimes people are like, it's a vegetable. I don't know, it's vegetable. It's a vegetable. That's it.
China have all kinds of vegetables, but I think American just the vegetable for American is too simple. They don't have much choice.
Well, that's true. Compared to China, you're right. That's very true. Compared to China, that was one thing I loved when I lived in Taiwan was that I could eat vegetables a lot more often, and they were yummy. Like for example, in America, almost no one has a vegetable for breakfast ever. It's crazy. We don't eat vegetables in the morning. So crazy. But I loved that when I would go, to get maybe some morning, a morning at a breakfast shop, maybe, and I would get some steamed vegetables or something with my danping or something, So, yeah, you're right about that. There are more vegetables in Chinese food in general. But why is that true, Cheney? For the exact opposite reason. Remember that I was talking about why do Chinese people talk about food differently? Why do Americans not eat everything?
Yeah, this is an interesting topic. You already tell us the answers because the China is more older. They have a long history, and I think the biggest problem during the long history is the food problem. Because we have too much person, right?
Right.
So how to solve the food problem is even now still is the government's machine.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and again in America, so like for example, in America, if you buy a chicken at the grocery store, there's no head and there's no feet on the chicken here.
Yeah, I know.
Right, and we have. There, you can get the heart and the liver. Sorry about that. Hold on. Let me bring my program back up. It crashed. You can get the innards, but many people don't eat them. But my point was basically just that American people are spoiled and rich. compared to the rest of the world. So when we eat chicken, we only want the best parts. When we eat vegetables, we only want the best vegetables, the most common ones that we like. We don't, and so eating anything challenging is considered something for poor people. I know that's believe me, that's something very wrong. That's why I eat everything. I love to try new things and I love to explore food, especially. But there are many Americans that when they think about food, if it's a challenge for them, no, food is not supposed to be challenging. Food is just supposed to be a luxury. And it's supposed to be something where you always enjoy it the way that you want, and that's it. For me, food is a cultural way to experience the world. So I like to try different things. And I know maybe I might not like it, but that's okay. You know, I'll try it anyway, right? But my nephews, you know, they're one of my nephews is pretty picky, you know. He doesn't like to eat weird stuff, you know, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I was like that when I was younger too, but you just need to understand that's a cultural difference in how we talk about food. But Penelope, let's get back to you and your pronunciation, because I think I've heard you enough now, and I know what you need to do. You need to do the same thing that almost everyone in China needs to do, which is just you need to understand that Chinese language uses a small mouth and American English uses a big mouth. And until you understand that difference, you can't really sound like me. Okay? So for example, it's mostly about the vowels. It's all about the vowels, the vowel sounds, okay?
Okay.
So A-E-I-O-U.
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 Very good.
Right.
But make sure it's very big. Watch my mouth and look how big it is. A-E-I-O-U. A-E-I-O-U. Now, I know that looks weird. I know that looks awkward. And guess what? I don't care. Because when I'm learning, I don't care if I look stupid. I only care if I'm making progress. All right? So every musician, every professional musician you know or you have ever seen before, when they practice, they don't sound good. Because if they do sound good, they're not really practicing. They're not pushing themselves. Right? So the same thing is true for your language. If you're always trying to sound good when you speak, that means you're not pushing yourself enough. You're not trying to push yourself to learn more, to do better. You're always staying in the safe place. Okay? So, A-E-I-O-U, and there's the other sounds, right? Those are the long sounds. There's also the short sounds. A, E, I, O, A, E, I, O,
I-A-E-O.
Penelope,
Right.
that was perfect. Yeah, that was very, very, very good. And what you need to remember is the A sound, 这是大的口, E 这是中的口, I 这是小的口. A, E, I. A, E, I.
Apple. Pen.
Right.
Igloo.
So that's exactly right. Now watch my mouth. The width of my mouth, when I say ah, it's very open and very wide. Ah, ah, ah. When I say it's still wide, but it's not as open, right? It's
Okay.
zhongde, middle, right? So I'm sorry, that's is wide and open. So So do you see the width of my mouth? Watch the width of my mouth.
Yes.
So the width of my mouth doesn't change. Only the breadth, the width, the openness, right? Okay?
Yes.
So, those are the three most important ones for Chinese people to practice, because almost every Chinese person I've ever met, they have a lot of trouble hearing the difference between and I. Because you're right, they're very similar. They're very close.
Okay.
But it's not the same, and what you need to focus on is the size of your mouth. Okay? And then, here's my next suggestion. If you have trouble with some consonant, right? So let's say you have trouble with TH sounds, right? Many Chinese people have trouble with TH sounds, right? So try this. Try saying ah, eh, I, but I want you to add th to it. So now it becomes tha, the, thaw, th,
Fa.
the.
Se.
See, it's hard, right? Tha, the,
Right.
the, thaw.
It's a little hard.
Yeah, because I know Chinese doesn't have a th sound, so it's very difficult for you. But now you have an exercise you can practice every day, and if you do that, your th will be great. Okay, tha, the, thaw,
Okay.
th. And you can do the long sounds too. So a-e-i-o-u, thay, thi, thigh, tho, thu.
A-E-I-O-U.
Yeah, so you can do this with every English sound, right? So you can do b b b ba 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 bi ba ba.
B B B ba 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 B B ba ba ba.
Tai kwai la. B b b ba 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 bi ba ba. 对，Cheney，你试试看。ba ba bi ba ba.
Hold on.
Okay,
It's-
that's all right.
it's-
Take your time. All right. So, yeah. So, everyone, this is what actors do. Actors do this to practice proper pronunciation of all the sounds. So, they'll say ba ba bi ba ba or baby bi bo boo. Ka ka ki ka ka, keiki kai ko ku, da da di da da, day di di do do. I know it sounds funny. But I don't care because it works. It is a very, very effective way to perfect your pronunciation with every kind of sound. Okay? And there's one final way to do it too. You can put the consonant on the back end also. So instead of being ba ba bi ba ba, you can say ab, eb, ib, ob, ub. Yeah, or ak, ek, ik, ok, uk. Ad, ed, id, odd, ud. Af, f, if, off, uff. Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
So look, Penelope, learning anything is about having a system. You need a system if you want to improve, right? And so for pronunciation, that's the problem. They don't really give you a system. They give you the rules, but they don't give you any kind of a system for how you can practice or learn. What I gave you is a system for practicing the pronunciation.
Right. Thank you very much.
No problem. Yeah. So, Cheney, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So, Cheney, what about you? Do you have the same problems with pronunciation, or did you want to ask me something different in terms of pronunciation?
Yeah, actually, I have the same.
Yeah,
want to repeat
most Chinese people have the same exact issues, and it's mostly just because Chinese is a small mouth language. Everything in Chinese is small, and your mouth is very closed when you say it. So, of course, American English is a big mouth language, so it's uncomfortable.
mouth language.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I move my mouth here as much as I can because I want you to see the difference. If you move your mouth a lot and you open it big, it's extremely clear. But if you don't and you have... So we have a word in English, the word mumble. Mumble, M-U-M-B-L-E.
Mambo or mango.
Mumble means to speak unclearly because you're not moving your mouth enough. So maybe if if your mom will ask you, what are you doing today, Mark? And I say, I don't know. I'm going to the store. I was mumbling because you can't understand me because I'm not moving my mouth enough. I'm being so lazy with my mouth that you can't understand. Mumble. Yeah. To mumble. Don't be a mumbler.
I'm trying to open more bigger.
Yep.
Okay.
That's it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, I want to ask one question about the last topic. You just talk about the rhythm, right? Rhythm, and when you need to speak fluency, flowing.
Yeah,
A flowing
flowing.
topic. Yeah, I want to give one example about you in place listen the two sentence. I'm going to school. I'm going to school. You can you know the difference? Because I really didn't know the when if I see some words how when
Where
what
you
time
put the
should
accent.
speak soft,
Yeah. Yeah.
what time should be speak more strictly or stress. I don't know.
Right. Well, that's the funny thing about English, Cheney, is it's not really a tonal language, it's an emotionally tonal language. So what that means is technically I could put my stress on almost any word and it shouldn't really change the meaning, right? So if I say I am going to school, or I say I am going to school, or I say I am going to school, or I say I'm going to school. Right?
What's the difference?
Right. So,
Very hard.
what is the difference? Technically, there is no difference. Technically, they shouldn't mean anything different. If there's no rule that tells you that. In English, there is no rule in any book that says if you accent this word, it means this. If you accent this word, it means no. That's something we only learn through practice. So if I say, I am going to school, then I am trying to tell you that the most important part of that sentence is I. I am going to school, not him. I am going, not my sister. I. Okay. If I say I am going to school, then maybe that implies that someone said you're not going, So maybe your mom tells you, come on, go, go, go. And you say, I am going to school. I'm going. Just stop bothering me, right? I am going. If I say I am going, now the accent is on the going part. So I'm trying to tell you that that's the most important thing. I am going to the store. So, or I'm going to school. So if I say that, then that means, let me think. In that case, I would say it's basically the same original meaning. I'm going to the store. I just focused it on the go part. So that just is telling you that I have to leave for some reason. I can't stay. Okay. And if I say I'm going to the store, again, there's no real meaning changed in that one. If I say I'm going to the store, now I put the accent on the. Now I am saying the store. That means a specific store, right? Not a store, not any store. I'm going to the store, right? So that's where the accent is. And then finally, I'm going to the store. Again, I put the accent on the place, so that's the most important part. So maybe you ask me, where are you going? I'm going to the store. All right, but again, Cheney, technically you could answer with any one of those, and it really shouldn't change the meaning. It just depends on what someone said to you, right? So if someone said something before to you, if they say, "Where are you going?" I'm going to the store. Now you've told them the store is the most important part. If you say, if your mom said, "Are you going or not?" You could say, "I am going." And now the strong part is about, I'm going. Stop telling me, right? You understand? So, and again, Cheney, technically English is not a tonal language, although it's funny how it's emotionally tonal. So, for example, the word dude, D-U-D-E, it's an informal word that we use between people who are familiar with each other, right? So it's especially musicians. Yeah, dude, right? So if I walk into a room and I say, dude, that means like, I haven't seen you in so long. Dude, wow, hi. If I walk into a room and I say, dude, then maybe I'm upset because you did something. Like I'm like, what is this, dude? Right? If I walk into a room and I say, dude, then I'm asking a question. Right? So it's kind of weird how just the tonal way that we can accent certain words does change the emotional feeling. But it's different than Chinese, where the complete meaning can change totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mark. I
No
understand.
problem.
Okay, I already understand this question. But can I ask another question?
Certainly.
You know, yeah. Most of the time, when you listen, when you hear the Chinese speak English, they often see some non necessary words like just like that. That's the flowing, right? The flowing.
Yeah.
Flowing
Yeah. We call those filler words. Filler words.
filler words. And how to avoid this situation? How to solve this problem?
Yeah, that is a good question. He's talking about filler words, everyone. So when you're speaking and you say, I am my name is Mark, and I'm from those are filler words. Okay. Or in America, young kids often do it with the word like. They'll use the word like too much. So they'll say, well, like we were like going to the like store, and like then like we were like lots and lots of likes, right? But it's basically the same thing. What's happening is your brain doesn't have enough time to think, and you're trying to give your brain time to think. So these words like they buy you time. They give you some time. All right? So what does that mean? Well, it means a couple of things. One, the most important thing that you should learn is silence is golden. Silence is golden. That's an English idiom, everyone. And so what that means is if you really, I would say what I do is instead of saying, I'll just stop and say nothing at all. Silence. You are allowed to think. There's nothing wrong with thinking about your words. Okay? So if someone asks you a question and you're not sure, then you need to know this face. That face tells everyone I'm thinking about my words. Now, here's an important thing. You think you're not allowed to stop and think about your words in English because you think that if you stop to think about your words, then that means your language is bad and you're stupid. No. If you're allowed to stop and think in your native language, then you're allowed to stop and think in your second or third language. Okay? So, when you stop to think about your words, you don't look stupid. You look careful. Like you're thinking more carefully about your words to choose them more prudently, like a smart person would. When you choose your words very quickly, you're not being careful. You're using whatever word you can think of first, but maybe it's not the best word. Okay? Yes. So don't be afraid to take your time when you're speaking. That's a very important, good rule. Okay? And then I would say the other reason why this happens is because another thing I talk about often on my streams is if you are speaking a language, but you are still thinking in your native language, then you are not speaking that language. So if you are speaking in English, but you are thinking in Chinese, then you are not speaking English.
Yeah, but this is a common problem.
I know.
Yeah, most of the time when I get the information, when you speak something, get the information from you, I need to translate it firstly.
Yeah.
in my brain.
I understand, but as soon as you can make that change to where you're really thinking in that language, it's a big difference. Okay, so my Chinese is not that good. It's really not. But the one thing that I can do is I can think in Chinese with the simple Chinese that I have. And so that's why I'm able to speak a little bit more quickly. I get stuck sometimes, but usually if I want to speak in Chinese, it's like my brain just switches to Chinese language. And I know now that if I'm speaking Chinese, I have to be thinking in Chinese. It just doesn't make any sense to do anything else. All right. But they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that when you're learning any language. They don't tell you about thinking. They only tell you about reading, writing, listening, and speaking. But if you learn how to do all those things while you're thinking in your native language, then you're not really learning the language. Okay. That's why I learned German for 3 years and I can't speak German because I never learned how to think in German. Okay, but I learned Chinese and I learned how to think in Chinese, and that made a big difference. So how can you learn how to think in Chinese or think in English? It's all about, once again, you have to have a system, right? You have to have a system. And for me, I have 3 levels of practicing English thinking. And the first level is the most basic one. All you need to do is walk around all day wherever you are in life and ask the questions who, what, when, where, why, and how. So if you're in 7-Eleven, okay, if you're in 7-Eleven buying a coffee, I want you to think who. Answer the question who. What is the who question? It could be anything. It could be who's working here. It could be who is in the store right now. Could be who owns 7-Eleven. It could be who likes to come to 7-Eleven. That's a who question. What? Now, what's a what question about 7-Eleven? What does 7-Eleven do? What is 7-Eleven? What does 7-Eleven sell? What do they have? What are they for? Right? When are they open? What, so who, what, when, where, why? All day long, walk around and ask yourself these simple questions wherever you go. If you're at work, can you answer who, what, when, where, why, how? If you're walking in the park, can you answer who, what, when, where, why, how? Those are just simple questions. But can you answer them? The answers are not as simple. The questions are very simple.
Practice our mind to think just in English, right?
Right, but in the beginning, I want you to just think very simply, 很简单的. So I like this, I don't like that. I want this, I don't want that. They're funny, he's cute, she's nice. That's all. Just simple, right? Use what you know simply in the beginning. That's level 1. Then level 2 is what I call topical, which just means choose a topic and see how well can you talk about that topic, right? So if I say sports, can you talk about sports in English? Can you think about sports in English? If I say your clothes, can you describe your clothes? Can you tell me what you're wearing today? Exactly what you're wearing, right? Food, another good one, like we just discussed before, right? Yeah, these are right, exactly. So these are topical questions, and those are fairly easy to think about, right? They're, any topic is good, right? School, work, friends, family, past, present, future, your goals, your dreams, any of that. Those are topics. And then there's the third level of thinking, which is the most difficult one, and that's really high-level thinking, where now I'm asking you about what are the emotions that you feel about this thing? What are the psychological aspects of this thing? What are the historical aspects of this thing? What are the political aspects of this thing, or the religious aspects of this thing? The philosophical aspects of this thing. So we have 3 levels. Basic, who, what, when, where, why, how. Just answer those questions as often as you can, everywhere you go in your head all day. Then, second level, topical. Choose a topic and see how well can I talk about this thing in my head? How well can I think about this thing? Okay? And then 3 is more advanced high level thinking like historical, psychological, sociological, political. Yeah, philosophical. Yeah, that's right. All of those types of things, right? So yeah, and yeah, sometimes it's going to be funny, you know, like what would be the philosophical question to ask about 7-Eleven, you know? But if you think about it, I'm sure you can come up with something, you know? And the point is to always be thinking, you know, and use your English in your mind, because everyone, it's so simple. If you learn how to think in the language that you want to speak, then you can practice that language all day. So right now, when you try to practice your language, you try to set aside 2 hours. I'm going to do 2 hours today, and I'm going to practice my writing and reading, and you feel really good about it. But you could practice all day just by learning how to think in English. That's a big, big, big difference. Okay? 2 hours versus 24 hours. Okay? All right? And yeah, once you start doing that, then you'll be dreaming in English. And then you know you've really made the change.
I mean, the thinking like America.
Well, I would say thinking like a Westerner. Yeah. Yeah. Okay?
Okay.
But
Okay, no problem.
so many people, really, there are not 4 parts of language learning, there are 5. And the most important one is thinking. And it's so crazy that they never tell you that. They just tell you reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And then that's why we have so many people in China specifically who they've been learning English for many years, but they can't speak. Yeah. And it's why.
Ignore the most important point.
That's
is the
right.
thinking.
Yeah. And that's why I also tell everybody that whatever practice you're doing, let's say you decide you're going to do 4 hours of practice every day. You're going to dedicate 4 hours to learning English. Then in my mind, that should be 2 hours of thinking practice and 2 hours of everything else. That's how important thinking is. It should be 50% of all of your practice, in my opinion. At least 50% of your practice should be thinking practice. Because you can do that all the time. It's not hard. I'm not asking you to do anything extra. I'm asking you to live your life the way you normally do, but just change the language you think in. So wake up in the morning and say, I need to brush my teeth. Wake up in the morning and say, I need to put on my clothes. Wake up in the morning and say, I'm late for work. In English. Okay?
Great. It's good. Okay.
All right, Cheney. Anything else I can help you with?
Okay, that's all. That's
All
all.
right.
That's all.
All right. Well, great.
Okay, nice
Thank
to
you,
meet
Cheney.
Mr. Mark.
Nice to
Thank you
meet you
for
too. Take care, my friend.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, see you. Bye bye.
All right. Well, that was good too. That was good too. And many of those points that I made are specifically about Chinese, but they do apply to other languages too. Okay? That's right, Juan Carlos. Yeah, you got it. 1 is the WH questions. 2 is simple topics like your food or your clothes or your situation. You know, what is your situation right now? Well, I'm at work. I'm doing this. I'm at school. I'm doing this, right? Describe your situation right now. Describe your clothes. Describe what you had for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. Describe what kind of food you like. Describe music, art. Describe sports or your hobbies, you know. And all of this is in your mind. All of this is in your mind. Okay? Yeah, well, that's you haven't heard it before because it's my concept, and I haven't finished making it yet. I'm still working on it. Hello, Layla. Slice says the third level will need vocabulary enhancements. Well, that's true, of course, right? But that's the point, is that your thinking levels, as you increase your level of thinking, you also increase your level of ability. Okay, so yeah, while you're doing this, you also are supposed to be improving your vocabulary, improving your grammar, right? So I didn't tell you to not work on your writing, reading, listening, and speaking. I just said that thinking is the most important part. Okay? Alice says, usually I recite words, but then I forget them. Why? Alice, if you only met someone for 1 second, are you probably going to remember them? You didn't even talk to them. You just saw them for 1 second out of the corner of your eye. Are you going to remember that person? If you want to remember a person, then you need to spend time with that person. If you want to remember a word, then you must spend time with that word. If you tried to memorize them, you didn't remember because you didn't spend enough time with that word. It's very simple. Words are like friends. If you get to know them, you will remember them. If you don't get to know them, you will forget them. Okay? So, don't recite words. That doesn't work. Write words in a sentence. Look up the etymology of the word, the history of the word, the root of the word. Look up on YouTube about that word. See if there's a funny video you can watch that will help you remember that word. Write a poem about that word. Okay? There are no shortcuts. There's only hard work. And memorizing doesn't work because memorizing is just you trying to learn without work. That's all memorizing is. I'm going to memorize it. Why? Because I don't want to work. If you want to learn something, then you have to work. Okay? And Juan Carlos says, since number one, you realize there's a lot of vocabulary you don't know. That's the point of thinking. When you think in English, yeah, you're going to find many things that you don't know how to say. And everything that you find that you don't know how to say is something you can learn. That's what you need to figure out. Everything you don't know how to say is what you need to figure out. So that's why you need to think in English as often as you can. And when you do, you will find something that you don't know how to say. And now you know what you need to learn. Okay? Okay, I see lots of questions here, and they're good questions, but they're not the question for my topic, and this is my classroom. We are talking about pronunciation today. We're talking about pronunciation, so if you want help with your pronunciation, I will help you. Okay? Mia says, I just really feel it's hard to think in English in the first place. You're right, Mia. That's because when you started learning English, they didn't teach you to think in English in the beginning. And now you've learned how to think in Korean, but speak English. So now you need to go back and you need to learn how to think in basic English again. Just use simple things, Mia. Try thinking about things you like and things you don't like, things you want and things you don't want. That's very simple, right? So when you're walking around all day, I want you to comment on everything you see. Do you like that car? Or do you not like that car? Do you like that shirt? Do you not like that shirt? Do you want that sandwich? Do you not want that sandwich? And then you could try to answer why. Why do you like that car? Why do you like that sandwich? Okay? Yes, Mia, like a baby. That's exactly right. Like a baby. But don't worry, because babies are only babies for this long. That's because if you learn like a baby, you will learn really fast. Okay? That's right, Mike. Let your life be full of English everywhere. You got pulled over a few minutes ago and the officer asked, "Why did you wrap your car?" What does that mean? Tomas wants me to pronounce the word enthusiasm. 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 Slightly different than the British pronunciation. I don't know, but that's how we say it. Enthusiasm. Janetta has difficulty with the word entrepreneur. So that's a French word, actually. Okay? And our pronunciation of it is like a bad French pronunciation. So entrepreneur is how we say it. Entrepreneur. 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 Oh, you mean wrapping your car like a paint job kind of a thing. Ah, I see. The British add a J sound? Wow. That's weird. Kind of like a Sean Connery thing. Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. Ah, it's Sean Connery. It's the Sean Connery sound. Like schedule. Schedule. No. Schedule. All right. Who else would like to raise their hand and come up and get some help with their pronunciation? Raise your hand if you want help with your pronunciation. Come talk to me, and I will help you. All right, let's see. Let's try, is it Sailab? Tina, I'll get to you in just 1 minute, okay? Deng Weisha. Hello, Sailab.
I have light for you, sir.
Sailab, the connection's not really good. Hold on a minute. Let's see if the connection gets a little bit better here. Hold on. Sometimes the connection in Pakistan is not very good.
Yeah,
That's okay. All right, there. I think I might have you now, Sailab. So how can I help you today, Sailab?
Thank you. How do you help me to pronounce R?
You want to help with the pronunciation of the letter R. Okay. So yeah, Sailab, the letter R is very important to the American English sound. Okay. And really, the word that you need to practice more than any other word is the word car. Car. It's such a simple word, but it has the American R sound. Car. Car.
Car.
That's
car.
Yeah, that's very good. So the secret is In Urdu, the tongue, when you make an R sound kind of in the Urdu sound, the tongue is like the Arabic sound. It's it's up against the roof, right? So the tongue in American English is not up against the roof. So watch my mouth. R, R.
Yeah.
You see how it's like just hanging in my mouth? R, R,
Yeah.
R.
And
Yeah.
in the middle of the mouth.
It's just in the middle of the mouth. That's exactly right. R, R, R.
R. R.
Yeah, very, very good. That was very, very good. Okay, so that's the secret to the American R sound. And now you can practice that with the exercise I gave earlier, where you can practice it with vowels. Now add a vowel. So you can say A, E, I, O, U, Ray, Re, Ri, Ro, Ru.
Re, re, ri, ro, ru.
You got it. And then you can say A, E, I, O, Ra, Re, Ri, Ra, Ra.
Ra, ro,
Ra,
God.
Re,
Ra, re,
Ri,
re,
Ra,
ra,
Ra.
ra.
Yeah, Ra, Re, Ri, Ra, Ra.
It means I should include vowel with R.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, yeah. Or you can put the vowel and the consonant backwards. So you could do the vowel first and the consonant second, right? So you could do the R second. So you could do A, E, I, O, U, and then you could have R, 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 R. Oh, what would it be? Let me think. Ooh, that's a hard one. One moment. Let me look at something. R, or R. Yeah, okay, that one's going to be really hard for you, so I'm going to say skip that one, because the R sound, when you combine it with consonants, it doesn't follow the same rules as many other ones does. But you could do it with the short sound. It should be easy. So that would be... Yeah. Just, I think you only need to worry. I think you only need to worry about practicing it with the consonant R on the beginning. Because if you practice it with the consonant on the end, actually the sound the rules change a little bit. Because, for example, the sound of IR and the sound of ER are often exactly the same in American English. Right? Yeah. So the word, so for example, OR, word, and then we have the word bird, and then we have the word, herd. Those are ER, IR, and OR, but they all sound like word, bird, herd. That's why I'm saying that you only need to practice with the letter R in the beginning. Ra, re, ri, ra, ra, re, ri, ri, ro, ru.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
That's right. Do that one and you'll be okay. Yeah. And that's all you need to do is practice that baby exercise. Ra, re, ri, ra, ra, re, ri, ri, ro, ru. Ra, re, ri, ra, ra, re, ri, ri, ro, ru. And yes, I know it sounds funny. I don't care. It's effective. Yeah. It's effective. It gives you every possible way to say it. And then you
okay, let me tell me, is it correct or not? Merit. Is it correct?
Yeah, that's good. Mm-hmm. Try married. Yeah, that's good too. Keep trying. Try some more R words.
I will not marry you.
That sounds very good to me.
Okay. British.
British, yeah, British. Yeah, now Americans, we just say it a little bit quicker. So British. The T, in American English, T's, when we say them quickly, T's often turn to soft D's. So if I say it slowly, it's British. If I say it quickly, it's British.
So how to pronounce strong? Strong or straw? How does it pronounce?
Strong.
Strong.
Yeah.
Strong.
You were rolling your R. That sounded more like an Italian or a Spanish person saying it. Yeah.
We use R in this situation. R. We use R in Urdu.
In Urdu.
R.
Okay, so the Urdu R is very similar to the Spanish R. Yeah, they're very, very similar sounding. So then, yeah, that's good. If you know that, now you know the difference, right? So you're right. Again, go back to that word car. Yeah, that's
Car.
it. The American English R sound is all about the word car. It's such a short word, and so it's easy to practice, you know? So good, Sailab. That's actually, you sound pretty good. I think your R's sound pretty good. You just need to make sure you remember the difference between Urdu R and American R. It's the tongue.
Yeah, there's one more problem, Mr. Mark.
Okay.
When I talk with the British, to say England people, British accent people, then I cannot understand them because when they pronounce R, then I don't know what word are they speaking or pronunciation.
Yeah, well, I can't really help you with that because that's just the difference between British English and American English. And you're right. British English, most British people who speak English, they don't move their mouth open as much as Americans. It's more closed. So if I want to pretend to be British, then I will purse my lips, which means that the muscles right around here, I make them a little bit smaller like this. And now I can talk like a Brit because my mouth is really small. Right?
Yeah.
Like my mouth is really, really small like this. But Americans, everything is really big like this.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
so again,
Yeah.
sometimes it's all about understanding the mouth position, okay? That was a funny British accent, Laura. Again, I don't do a British accent because I'm not British. Anything I do is just me faking, right? I'm just pretending to be British. But I can pretend close enough that you can see what the difference is. And yes, there are some people who speak English, British people who speak English, and they do move their mouth a lot. So, for example, if you go find some very good trained British actors, I don't mean movie actors. Movie actors are not trained. They're pretty people who got hired because they're pretty. So, no, I mean the people who are actual actors who learn acting, okay? Like, for example, Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart is a famous British actor, and he has an excellent voice, and his pronunciation is beautiful. So if you listen to Patrick Stewart, he is famous because he was on the TV show Star Trek, the next... Oops. He was on the TV show Star Trek The Next Generation. It was a space TV show. And he's the captain of the ship. But his English, and almost everybody on that show... So the funny thing is, I told everybody, you should try to watch TV shows and movies about real life because that's useful, right? If you're watching movies about aliens and space stuff, that's not real useful. However, this TV show, though, I will make an exception about this TV show because everyone that they hire for this TV show speaks really well. They all speak really well. They have really clear English. So, in this case, I think that would be one TV show I would recommend. And you can hear Patrick Stewart has a great British accent, but his accent is a little bit more easy to understand because he moves his mouth. It's big.
Okay.
Open. All right?
And yeah, right. So does he make every like a drama in the same accent, or
Yes.
does he change?
Yes. No, he's very famous for that voice. Yeah. So anything you find with Patrick Stewart. Yeah, he was in the X-Men movies too. He's the professor from X-Men, all the X-Men movies. If you've seen any of those, the bald guy in the wheelchair, that's Patrick Stewart. And he has a great accent. Well, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find an example for you. One moment. I remember he was on the American kids show Sesame Street. Sesame Street is a children's show, right? It's a very famous children's show. But he did a couple of episodes of that. And so let me show you one of those videos. I'm pretty sure his speaking will be good. I've never seen this video before, so I don't know. But let's find out if his speaking is really clear. All right. Okay, so here, let me share it with you here. There you go. Okay, here we go. Let's listen.
Be or not a bee? That is the question.
Look at his mouth. It's
Whether
big.
'tis the second letter of the alphabet or some other merry letter. Be or not a bee? This letter doth have a stiff, straight.
So he's using Old English to speak, right? So he just said, this letter doth have. We don't speak like that anymore, right? But the point is, look at his British accent. His British accent is very, very different than many because he's...
Yeah, I can understand him.
Yeah,
Understand him.
he's an actor. That's why. He's a trained actor. Trained actors, they learn this thing that I was teaching you. Me, me, my, mo, moo, mama, all those, that's acting tricks. Those are acting techniques, okay? So sometimes the tips that I give you are from being a musician, and I use musical ideas that help you with language. But sometimes the tips that I'm giving you are from acting. Like real acting, not movie acting. Okay? Because real actors on a stage, you don't have a microphone on a stage. But you need to make sure everyone can understand you, even if they're in the back of the room. So you need to project your voice, and you need diction, clarity. Okay?
You're right.
Yes, A, B or not A, B? That is the question. So, yeah, he's one good example of someone who has a British accent, and there are many like that. So, if you think of almost all of the British actors, like, for example, in the Lord of the Rings movies, there's also a few other British actors who also have this big, booming British voice. Not a polite, small-mouth British voice. Okay?
Oh, no, I want to know them.
Let's see. Okay, let me give you some more. Actors. Let me see. Oh, I know. One is the guy from Harry Potter. What's his name again?
Busy.
Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman. He has a really, really good voice. And who else? Let me see. Also, Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee is also very famous for his voice. Helen Mirren, Laura mentioned Helen Mirren. She's, if you're ladies, if you're looking for a woman with a great pronunciation, Helen Mirren is great. Benedict Cumberbatch, yes, also. Although, Laura, I think Benedict Cumberbatch, it depends on what you see him in. Sometimes, Benedict Cumberbatch is the guy who plays, what's his character? Doctor, what is it? He's another superhero. Yeah, he's Sherlock, right. He's in Sherlock, the TV show Sherlock, but he's also Doctor Strange. That's right. So if you've seen any of the Doctor Strange movies, that's Benedict Cumberbatch. When he does Doctor Strange, his voice is great, really good. But I've seen him do some other things, like in Sherlock. When he's speaking in Sherlock, sometimes his voice is more of like a small-mouth British accent. Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan also has a great voice. So these actors, these are all people who have training. They're not just pretty people on a camera. You know, they learned how to speak that well. Okay? So, Sailab, in America, many people are familiar with Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is a very famous American actor. He's that black guy who has the perfect voice. He has those spots on his face. I can't remember what it's called. There's a thing he does. This guy, Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, please try the name.
Yeah. This guy, if you've seen this guy before, this is Morgan Freeman. Have you seen him before? No.
Oh, maybe I.
He's been in so many movies, many movies. There's a movie called the Shawshank Redemption. Shawshank Redemption is a very famous American movie, and Morgan Freeman is one of the main characters in that movie, and he speaks very, very well. So he gets hired to be the narrator in many movies because his voice is so clear.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's another good trick, everybody, is do a search online for actors that are narrators. Okay? Actors that are narrators. Let me write that down for you. Actors that narrate, okay? Narration means when, for example, Boogie just mentioned David Attenborough. David Attenborough is a very famous British man who, he does all those TV shows about Earth. So if you see those beautiful TV shows about Earth with all the nature and you hear that really great British voice who's narrating everything and telling you about what you see, that's David Attenborough. And yeah, he's another one with a really excellent accent. But he's famous because of his narration. So a narrator is the guy who's telling you the story. That's the narrator, okay? And so Morgan Freeman, when you watch movies, that voice you hear that tells you, and now he's going to go back to his home and feel blah, 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 blah. That voice, that's Morgan Freeman. Because his voice is so nice and smooth and clear. And I want you to pay attention. Good actors with training, they don't speak quickly. They speak slowly. And there's this problem in language that people think speaking quickly means speaking well. No.
Yes, you're right.
Speaking well is speaking well. The speed has nothing to do with it. Okay? As a matter of fact, in my opinion, the faster you speak, the less importance your words have. So if you're speaking very quickly, in my opinion, that means your words are not very important. If your words are more important, then you will say them slowly. Right? See how that works? If my words are important, then I say them slowly. If my words don't matter, then I say them really quickly like this. Right?
You're right.
See how that works? Okay?
So, Mr. I'm sorry to say, like, I'm asking you wrong question because this is not a topic today. One more question. I'm
Okay.
sorry to say.
That's all right.
Question is, let me think.
Take your time, Salab. That's all right, Salab. Relax. Take your time. It's all right.
Yeah. I think you explained before, but that time my network was not working. So I'm sorry to I'm going to ask you again. So, tell me the way that I learn a word forever. One time, and I want to practice. I will spend time with that word, but I want to learn forever.
Right. So you have to treat your words like your friends. And that means you have to get to know them. So when you have a friend, you ask them, what do you do? So what is the meaning of that word? When you have a friend, you ask, where do you come from? So find out where that word comes from. When you have a friend, you ask, what do you like to do for fun? Well, find out all the ways you can use that word, like different ways you can use that word, right? Or try to use it in creative ways, like writing a poem or writing a song. Okay. Now, let's be clear, everyone. The reason why you memorize is because you think it's the fastest way to learn. So you try to do that because you think it's fast. It's not fast. It's not fast at all because it's not effective. So what happens is the information goes in this ear and it stays here for about 5 minutes and then it comes out the other ear. All right? And right, so here's what I like to do is I like to tell you that your brain is like a spider web. And if a spider wants to eat, then it must make a really strong web with many, many connections. Many connections, not just one. If you only have one, you're not going to catch anything. But if you have many, many, many connections, then you will catch it and it will stay in your head. Every time you find a way to experience that word, you are making a new connection. And the more connections you have, the more likely you will remember that word forever. So write it in a sentence, write it in a question, look up the beginning of that word. Where does this word come from? What language did it come from originally? Is it from Latin? Is it from Greek? Is it from French? Find out, type in example sentences. You know, so maybe you're learning the word microphone. Type in example sentences and see how many ways are there to use the word microphone. Maybe look online and find a video about microphones and watch it. This is how you will remember. You're creating as many experiences and connections with that word as you can. Okay, so it's like I said, if you walk down the street and you see one person for only 1 second, you will not remember that person. But if you stop and say hello and you talk to them and you ask them about their past and you ask them, where are you going and what are you doing? You will remember that person. So everybody.
For a long time.
Yeah. If you're not remembering your words, you just didn't spend enough time with them to get to know them.
Okay.
It's that simple. And I know
So it means
that's not the answer you want, right? That's not the answer you want because you want something quick and easy with no work. Well, guess what? I'm so sorry, but no, that doesn't exist. There is nothing that's quick and easy with no work to achieve greatness. If you want to achieve greatness, you must be willing to work.
Okay.
Got
So
it,
how
Salam?
much time I should spend with my one word if I want to learn some like a work? So how much time I should spend with this work?
I can't.
with this word?
That's one that I can't answer for you because it's different for everybody and it's different for every word, right? So, for example, the word microphone, I think that one's pretty easy to remember. And, you know, if you look at the word and you see, oh, well, it has micro and phone, you know, so some words might be easier to remember than others, right? Some words, I don't know why, but they're more slippery. They're harder to remember. So that means that there are some words that maybe you only need to spend 2 minutes with and you'll remember them because they're
right.
very memorable. Just the same, right, Sailab? If I see a guy in the street that I don't know, but that guy is wearing a big pink elephant hat, I'll remember that guy because he's weird and unique, right? So if the word is weird and unique, maybe you'll remember it more easily. If the word is more common, then maybe it'll be harder to remember. Okay?
You're right. That's you're
So I can't tell
telling
you
us the truth.
how long. It's really up to you. But you have to make that decision. When you see a word, if you feel like this word is easy to know because he's got a big pink elephant hat, or this word is not so easy to know, so I better spend more time with it. Okay? That's really all it is. And then, Sailab, you have to be creative. All right? The best learners are the most creative learners. So I'm not going to tell you every way that you can learn that word. I want you to figure that out. But be creative. That's all that you have to do. Just think about, how can I find a way to experience this word? How can I touch it? How can I taste it? How can I smell it? How can I whatever? Every way that you can find to relate to that word is going to make it easier to remember.
So yeah, you're right. Like sometimes when I search some word, I don't ask anyone. I don't memorize that word, but I just want to search what is that. Some dictionary I use, some Google something. Then I can already remember that word.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, some words are easier to remember than others just naturally,
Yes.
And so that's a decision only you can make. There's no one rule. There might be one word that's easy for you to remember, but hard for somebody else to remember, right? So that's a personal decision that you have to make. And it's based on your feelings. Okay? So if you feel this word is difficult, then spend more time with it. Okay? But if you feel the word is pretty easy, then no, you don't need to spend any more time. That word has a big pink elephant hat. You'll remember it. Okay?
You're right. That's thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Mark. I have to go. I'm sorry. I'm
No
a little
problem.
bit busy.
That's okay. Take care, my friend. You
Thank
had great
you for your time.
questions. Take care, Sailab.
Thank you
I'll
so
see you
much.
next time. All right. Oh, let me see if I can get him off the stage. Ah, it's frozen. Hello? I'm here. One moment, everyone. Ah, come on. There we go. All right. Now I'm back. Sorry about that, everyone. Connection problem. Yeah, there's something weird because I have really great internet and I never have a problem with my internet problem or my signal. But when I do live streams, I don't know why I do. So I think maybe it's not my problem. I'm not sure. But I'm here. Okay, I have time to help just a few more people. Hadi says Barack Obama's accent is also very clear. I agree. Yeah, Barack, he speaks like an actor. Well, he speaks like a politician, and he's a motivator. So he speaks in a way like almost like a coach, you know? So you might not agree with his words, what he's saying, but you have to admit he does speak well. That's right. He has to be clear and persuasive. That's exactly right. Yeah. All right. Let me try helping Ana Santos in Brazil. Hello, Anna.
Hello,
How are you today, Anna?
I'm fine.
Good. How can I help you with your pronunciation today? Do you have a question for me?
I have difficulty about how can I use past simple.
Past simple. Okay.
Simple.
Past
Or-
simple is pretty easy.
Perfect. Or present perfect.
Okay. Right. So let me try to explain. This is a little bit off topic, but that's okay.
So sorry. Can I record my?
Sure. Of course. Yeah. If you want to
Because
record.
I will watch it
No
later.
problem. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So you have past simple versus present.
Like I lived in Alagoas, or I have been in Alagoas. I can't understand about that.
Right. So there are three tenses that I like to try to explain together. Let me find this page. Hold on. So basically, here's the way to think about it, Anna. Simple past has one time period. You're talking about the past, and that's over, and that's it. So if you say, I went to the baseball game on Saturday, that's over and done with, and it's past, right? But if I ask you how many baseball games have you been to in your life? Now I'm asking you about the past all the way up until now, right? And so now there are two time periods. There's the past and the present. Okay, so hold on. Let me see if I can find this great little diagram. I lost it. Where did it go? Okay, one moment. Let me find it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, here it is. I found it. Okay, great. Here it is. All right, so this is going to help you explain or help you understand. So if you see, let me bring this up so you can see it here on my screen. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so what we have here is, it says we have a timeline, okay, a timeline to look at here. And so let's talk about if I say the kids have eaten dinner. Okay, the kids have eaten dinner. So that has two time periods, okay? It has the past all the way to the present, all right? So right now, we're talking about point A, okay, and point C. The kids ate in the past, and it's present now, all right? But if I say the kids had eaten dinner before the nanny went home, now I have three time periods. So I have the kids had eaten dinner before the nanny went home, and the present is now. So simple past is only talking about point A. Present perfect is talking about A and B. And past perfect is talking about A, B, and C. Okay? So, for example, if I say, I ate dinner yesterday, that's past. One time period, right? If I say, I have eaten dinner hundreds, thousands of times in my life, I'm talking about the past until now. And then if I say, I had eaten meat until I was 21, and then I became a vegetarian. Now I have 3 time periods, right? So I was talking about the past, and then I talked about a time period in the middle when I changed to become a vegetarian, and now I'm talking about the present. Okay? So, again, if you think about this diagram, the past is always just one time period. Okay? It happened in the past. All right? Present perfect is talking about the past, but how it relates to now. Something about what you've done in the past all the way till now. Okay? And then past perfect is pretty much the same thing, but there's a third thing in the middle. There's something that happened in the middle, a time period in the middle that happened. Okay? And again, that's right. That's past perfect simple. That's right. And yeah, these can be difficult here. So let me give you this page. Let me see. Can I copy that? Let's see. A, C. Oh, actually, no, I'm not supposed to give you any links. Shoot, how am I supposed to do this? There's some kind of a problem with my my live stream, and if I give you a link, they might block me. So if you go to Britannica.com, that's the website that I'm on right now. So here's what I did a search for. I searched for this. Okay, if you do a search for that, past simple versus present perfect, and then type in the words "the nanny," there's a page on Britannica.com, and it has this great example, and it lets you see the time period. And that's what you need to understand is past is just the past, one time period. Present perfect has the past and the present, and past perfect has the past, some kind of a middle time period, and the present.
Okay. If I use like wrong, it's very ugly.
No, nobody cares. Anna, if you're at work, grammar matters. If you're at school, grammar matters. If you're taking a test, grammar matters. But if you're just talking with your friends, no, grammar is not that important. And if you say the wrong thing and someone doesn't understand you, or maybe they misunderstood you, that's okay. Life is full of misunderstandings, and that's okay. So let me put it to you this way, Anna. Many people, they're so afraid to make a mistake that they never speak, right? They won't practice because they're afraid to make a mistake in their grammar. But if you never speak, you will never improve. But if you speak and you make mistakes, mistakes are a sign of progress. Okay? Without mistakes, progress cannot happen. Okay?
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why every musician, any real musician, when they practice, they don't sound good. Because if they're truly trying to practice, then they're trying to push themselves to a place where they're not comfortable. If you're playing everything that you already know how to do and you do it really well, that's not practice. That's fun. So you have to push yourself to the place where it's uncomfortable, and then you know you're getting better. All right? If you're always comfortable, you're never improving. If you're uncomfortable, that's a sign that you're making progress, or you're trying to make progress. Okay? So don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's okay. If someone doesn't understand you, they'll say, "I'm sorry, what?" Or they'll just ask you, "I'm sorry, could you say that again? I didn't quite understand." And that's okay. All right? Just because you're speaking a new language doesn't mean you can't be wrong. You're wrong sometimes in your native language, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right. But it's a weird thing. we feel like we're allowed to be wrong in our native language, but when we speak another language, suddenly we feel like we're not allowed to be wrong. Well, you are. Okay? You're still the same person, so you're still allowed to make little mistakes, and that's okay. All right?
All right. Something I guess it's very difficult for me, like that, and about when I must use will, I will, or I'm gonna to. It's very difficult in my mind because I can't understand.
Well, Anna, it's difficult because in many cases they mean exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay? English is that way, but so is Portuguese. There are many ways to say the same thing in Portuguese too, right?
Yeah, right.
That's English, right? So I could say I'm going to the store. I could say I'm walking to the store. I could say I'm riding to the store. They all mean the same thing, right? There are many ways to say the same thing there. So you were saying, what was the one you were confused with? Going to or what?
Well, no, when I use I will go to store,
Right.
or I'm gonna go to store.
Right. So
I don't know.
again, like I said, it depends on the context, but in many cases, those could be the same thing. If someone says, "Are you going to the store?" you could say, "I will go to the store," or "Can you go to the store?" or "Do you want to go to the store?" "I will go to the store." Sure. "I am going to the store." Yeah, it depends on what they're asking you, but in English, sometimes they could mean the same thing, or sometimes they could be a little bit different. So it also could depend on what word you make important. So, for example, if I say, "I am going to the store,"
I'm going to the store. It's right now.
right, but if I say, I am going, I stress the am part. Maybe when I say I am going, maybe my mom is yelling at me, "Hey, you need to go. You need to go. You need to go to the store." And I'm like, "Oh, Mom, I am going." Right? I'm stressing the am to tell her, "Yeah, okay, I am. I will." Okay? But it depends on the context. It depends on the context. Anna, what I would suggest is don't get too caught up in those things. You get nervous and it makes you stressed out about those little simple differences, but those simple differences, they're the same in your language too. Okay? Portuguese has many, many ways to say the same thing, just like English has many, many ways to say the same thing. They could be confusing to me also in Portuguese, but it depends on the context, right? It depends on the context. So relax, because context problems happen for native speakers too. Okay, so yeah, so don't worry about it. That's one where if you're not sure, just ask. If you're not sure, if they're saying, "Okay, I will go to the store," or "I am going to the store," make sure just ask them. Say, "Do you mean now, or you mean in the future?" Because that's really the only difference, right? If you say "I am going" or "I will go," will go implies that you are going to do it, but maybe not right now. But "I am going" usually means I'm going now. I'm in the process of going now. Okay? That's really the only real difference, is will implies the future and I am implies now. Okay?
Okay. And I was lost in or spending more time
Right.
with that.
That's right. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what you got to be careful of, everyone. Don't get that's what we call being stuck in the weeds. Stuck in the weeds. You're thinking about a problem that's not really a big deal, but now you're making it a bigger deal, and it's becoming a big problem. There's another way you can say that. making a mountain out of a molehill. Making a mountain out of a molehill is an idiom that means you're making a big deal out of something that's only a small deal. Okay, so a mole is a small little animal,
my God.
and they make small little hills, right? So making a mountain out of a molehill means that you're making this like it's a big, big, big problem. But no, it's not. It's not that big. Don't worry. Relax.
Yeah. I think in Brazil, a lot of teacher make it very difficult.
Well, that's not just Brazil. Anna, unfortunately, all over the world, language is taught the wrong way, but especially English. Most places that teach language or English, they teach the technical side more than the practical side.
Yeah.
Language is supposed to be practical before it's technical. Language is a tool that we use. It must be practical or it has no use. And guess what? If all you're learning is grammar, then you're not learning anything practical. You know?
Yeah.
So I like to tell people it's kind of like there are many people who want to drive, but some people are practicing how to drive and some people are reading how the engine works. It's like if you're studying grammar, that's what you're doing. You're reading about the engine. You know, oh, what does the carburetor does that? Oh, that's interesting. And the transmission does this. Oh, wow, that's good. But guess what? I don't know what a carburetor is, and I don't know what my transmission does, but I can drive. So what that means is, everybody, you forgot the most important part: driving. Right? So practicality is always more important than technicality.
Okay.
All right.
I really appreciate that.
No problem.
I'm grateful.
All right. Well, it was nice to talk to you, Anna. And come back and see me again. Hit the follow button and come back and see me again, okay?
Okay.
All right. Take care, Anna. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Huh, weird. Won't let me remove her from stage. See, yeah, there's still some weird bugs going on with Hello Talk sometimes. Professor Mahmoud. Okay, I have time for one more. Professor Mahmoud. Let me see if I can get you up here. Hello, Professor Mahmoud.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Assalamu alaikum.
Long time to see you, Mark.
Yes, how are you doing?
If you remember, I was joining with you here before, and if you remember that I was talking to you about the vocabs, how to gain more vocabs and how to be fluent and think more in English. Yeah, I tried, of course, to take in your advice, and yeah, it works, of course, because these days I'm trying to fill a style in learning. Like I was reading some articles and some topics about, for example, I was taking some articles about artificial intelligence. Also, what happened?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, about artificial intelligence and also the power of mind. It's yeah, I was reading this topic yesterday. Also, yeah, personal skills.
Okay.
So yeah, so do you see that this way is useful also?
You mean just reading about different topics and studying about different topics in English?
Yeah, I'm studying them also, but not just for knowing some informations, no, but actually I'm learning them, I'm reading them for getting some informations, also some vocabs. Yeah, it helps me to make my my mind wider and wider.
Right. So, Professor Mahmoud, when people ask me what's the best way to learn English, my answer is pretty simple. Every way is the best way. If you want to learn something, why limit yourself in how you learn it? So there are some ways of learning that are really, really effective, and there are some ways that are not as effective, but they're all good. Right? So sometimes you can choose one way and it's going to be really effective and that's fine. But maybe another way is not super effective, but it's still helpful. Okay? So if you're talking about using AI and reading about those things as ways to improve your English for your vocabulary and your grammar, yeah, that works. But the only thing is, many times when people ask me these questions, they're asking because they want me to say, yeah, you only need to do that. And I won't tell you that. So,
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Every way is the best way, and that way is good. It's certainly helpful, especially if you're talking about trying to be aware of the newest vocabulary. You know, if you're reading about things like AI, that's going to use a lot of really modern vocabulary that you must know that is only from recent times. You know, it's not going to be old vocabulary. It's new vocabulary because they're new words.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I'm saying it's a good way, of course, but I'm listening to your advice. I'm trying to use different ways. For example, I'm trying to learn some vocabs from individually, and also listening to some people try to, of course, have some listening, good listening to them to can gain some pronunciation of words. But some people told me before that difference between American accent and English accent it's about maybe 5 letters or more. Yeah, maybe this. And besides some ways also, but I need to remember just those 5 letters. I remember just R, the letter R, letter A, the letter maybe I don't remember also.
Well, yeah, I've never thought about it exactly that way. You know, like what are the? You're right. There are some words like the letter A and the letter R are definitely different between American English and British English. But I don't know if that's useful to you to think of it that way. Or more importantly, why do you need to know that? Because in my opinion, you should choose one and stick with it. So
yeah, but
you know,
the idea that
go ahead.
The idea that I'm dealing with American people and also English people. So
right, okay. Listening is one thing, yeah, but speaking is another. You don't need to speak like a British person to understand a British person. So what I mean is, when you're practicing your speaking, try to choose one. Choose either British or American. I don't care which one. Doesn't matter to me. But listening, you're right. You're going to have to listen to Brits and you're going to have to listen to Americans, and they both sound different, right? So how can you understand them? So Professor Mahmoud, if you're talking about people at work, then my most useful suggestion to you would be, if you use English at work, if you're doing video calls or audio calls with any clients in English, ask if you can record it and record everyone. Why? Because, let's say, Mahmoud, if you want to listen to a lot of other British people, like you want to watch YouTube and listen to other British people speaking, that might help you understand your client. Okay? But if you listen to recordings that you made from your client, that's a lot better. Because now you're listening to his voice. That's the guy who you need to understand, right? So what I would suggest is, if you can, ask if it's okay if you can record the calls. If they ask you why, you can say two things. One, you can say, well, simply, I want to practice my English, and it's better for me if I can listen to you, so I can listen to your voice and get better listening to you. And then two, you can say, look, this is just to be safe for our business, because English is not my first language. So it's probably a really good idea if we record everything we're saying to make sure there's no miscommunications that happen. Or if there are, then we can find it and we can say, oh, look, see, I misunderstood you when you said that. But now it's on record. So nobody has to be worried what happened. You know, why did this miscommunication happen? So there are two reasons why you should do it. One, it's good for you learning the voice of the person you're working with. And two, it's responsible for your business. And they should appreciate that. They should say, oh, wow, look, this guy's really, he cares. English is not his first language, and he wants to be sure that everything goes well. So he wants to record everything. I respect that. I think most people would.
Yeah, the idea which I say this because I was talking to some people. Yeah, British person. I saw him when I talked to him with my accent, okay, which is near to American. He got confused and say, "Yeah, I feel that he is discomfortable." He just described this as unrespectable thing. But for me, I'm trying to have balance between them. Of course, for example. The idea for me is to be understood. It's not to join American accent or British accent. The other to be understood, of course. So, but I'm trying to learn both of them.
Sure.
I'm not. I don't want anyone to feel shy or feel frustrated. I respect all of people.
I totally understand. Yeah, but you just need to understand, though, Professor Mahmoud, that it doesn't matter if you're British or you're American. There are some British people who speak very clearly, and there are some British people who speak not clearly. And there are some American people who speak very clearly, and there are some American people who speak not clearly. And so you need to make sure you understand the difference, right? So that's why many people, they ask me, you know, how can I understand every movie that I watch? And I tell them you can't, because there are lots of movies that have people who don't speak well, so you're not going to understand. So don't try to understand every movie. Try to understand the good ones. And then later, in time, eventually, you'll start to understand those people who don't speak well. But in the beginning, Mahmoud, it's also like being a musician. When you learn a musical instrument, we don't listen to everyone who plays that instrument. So if I want to play piano, I don't listen to everyone who plays piano. No, I listen to the ones who are really good. I focus on the ones who are really good. So if you want to learn a language, don't listen to everyone who speaks, because not everyone speaks well. So find a movie with someone who speaks well and then watch that. Okay. And the same thing is true for you with your clients, right? So just be aware. Some of your clients might speak very well and it will be easy for you to understand, but some of your clients might not speak well and it might be harder for you.
Yeah, I was dealing with people from Liverpool, so as you know,
right.
the hardest accent in England
That's
is
right.
in UK is Liverpool accent.
That's right. Yeah. Hello. They drop the H. There's no H. Hello. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think most of UK people. I love them, but most of them they eat letters in the words. So,
well,
I'm trying to them, guys.
It can be difficult.
I'm trying to tell them, guys, please don't eat words. I'm trying to understand your words, but I understood them, of course. Okay, but for me, I like to deal with American more because they don't eat a lot of words.
Well, it
So
depends on the American, okay? Not everyone speaks like me. It's my job to be clear, right? And so I do my best to try to speak as well as I can, and I try to use the best pronunciation that I can, and I have the best equipment that you can get. So that's why it's much easier to understand me. But there are many Americans. I could walk in my neighborhood and find 20 people that you would have a hard time understanding.
yeah, I asking you right now. Some people before they are speaking about better English and simple English. Okay, they are using they are, for example, they are considered. For example, if I'm saying to someone, "How are you?" They are using they are considering it as a simple English, but they are saying if you want to speak a better English, you should say, "How's it going? What's up?" Something like this.
Well, that's a difference between formalized English and colloquial, standard English, local English. Okay, so yeah, Mahmoud, when I'm with my friends, I'm a lot more casual. What's up, dude? Hey, man, how's it going? How you doing? Yeah, that's how I talk with my friends. But
Yeah.
in different situations, I speak differently. It depends on where I am and what I'm doing at the time. So here's what I will tell you, Mahmoud, is hey, buddy, is just as good as knowing nice to meet you, sir. But they're different for different purposes, right? So when you're meeting somebody at a party, you say, hey, buddy, nice to meet you. But when you're meeting someone at a business meeting, hello, sir, good to know you. Okay? That's the difference. It's about recognizing which language is appropriate for which situation.
Yeah. Also, for example, someone asked me since a while about the difference between here we go, and also something is near. It says, here we go, and also here you are.
Right. Yeah. So here you go.
I'm saying
Could be here you are, the same thing. So for example, if I say, maybe you ask me a question to find something for you online, to search for something, right? And so I'm finding a page for you about simple past tense, okay? And so I'll say, oh, here you are. And I can hand it to you. Oh, here you are. Or, oh, here you go. This is for you. And it means this is a thing that I found here. I'm giving it to you. Here you go, or here you are, in this case means I'm giving you something. But it depends on the context, because if I say here you are, it could also mean, oh, I found you. Here you are. I was looking for you. I didn't know where you were, but here you are. Okay? So it depends on the context.
Yeah, okay, I know. It depends on the context, but for example, they are saying you should use the language of, not the language of the street, the language which is using in the street in the ordinary life.
Again, I think it depends. Professor Mahmoud, what is this called? Hold on, let me think of the term.
Okay.
Oh, I can't remember it. Let me search and see if I can figure it out. What is that called? It's called... there's one term called channel switching. But there's another term for it I can't remember right now. But basically what it means is I am the same person, but I speak differently in different places. Okay? So when I'm with my band and I'm hanging out with my musician friends, I have one way of speaking. But when I'm teaching, I have another way of speaking. And if I go to the doctor's office, I have another way of speaking. So these are like changing channels on the TV. All right? And everyone does this. This is part of any language. This is part of any language. It doesn't matter what language you speak. There are times when you change the way you feel to be more serious or less serious. You know, if you're at the doctor's office or at your friends, right? And you have to recognize when it's appropriate. But no, Professor Mahmoud, I would say speaking street language all the time, no, that's not a good idea. Okay, so for example,
Yeah, of course.
for example, many times on my live stream here, there are people from, usually from India, but maybe from the Middle East somewhere. And they often like to use the word bro. Okay? But I have news for you. I'm sorry. That's not considered nice in most of the world. If you tell somebody, I don't know you yet, and you're already calling me bro. First of all, bro is a very informal way of speaking. So I definitely would not use bro when I'm meeting someone for the first time if it's a teacher or somebody like that.
Maybe Marcus, they are using this word to kind of be more friendly.
I know that's exactly what they're trying to do, and that's what they do culturally. That's the way it works. But I'm trying to explain that internationally, if you use the term bro for somebody who you just met and you don't know them yet, actually you might offend them.
Yeah, you're right. I think yesterday, maybe since a week, a friend of mine, he was calling his boss as pro. He got fired after this word.
Right. So what I'm saying is, so on my stream, I often try to figure out how can I talk to somebody in a very general way without offending them. And here's the 2 words you need to use that are always safe. My friend. Okay, so if I say, hello, my friend, maybe you aren't my friend, but by saying my friend, it's formal enough and it's like an invitation that I would like to be friendly with you. But if I say bro, that's more just like, I didn't even ask you if you want to be my friend yet. You know, you're just calling me your friend. And I understand. If I go to India, I'm not going to tell you that that's wrong. Right? If I go to India and I hear everybody saying, hey, bro. No. Now I'm in your culture. Okay? But what I'm telling you is if you leave India, leave the word bro behind. Leave the word bro back in India because no, it's not appropriate in most of the world to talk to somebody who you just met and use the term bro. Okay, so Joseph said, what about pal and fellow and buddy? All of those, if you're not my friend and you say, hey, buddy, there is a chance I could be offended. I might be offended because maybe I'm not your buddy. And it depends on how you use it, because sometimes people call you buddy in a way where they're actually not your friend. Right? Like if you're on the bus and somebody says, hey, buddy, get up. I want your chair. They're not being friendly. They're not asking you, they're telling you. Right? So look, all those words, the word dude, I use the word dude all the time, but not here. Not here. Okay? Right? So if I'm talking to you, I'm not going to say, hello, dude. No, I'm a teacher now. I'm supposed to be acting like a teacher. So I change my mode, okay? And this is what everyone does. It's important to know what mode you need to be in what situation you are in, okay?
Yeah, you're saying that it depends on the situation and the people you are talking with, right?
Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah. So sometimes bro is completely cool. If I'm with my band, I've been with those guys for 30 years. Yeah, I can call them bro. I've known them for a long time, right? But if I don't know you, and it's a formal situation, right? And let me make that clear. If I'm in a bar, then maybe I will say, hey bro, nice to meet you. I'm in a bar. That's an informal place. But if I'm at a business meeting, hi, bro, nice to meet you. No, No.
Oh my God.
Okay? No. So it's about understanding when you should use that and when you shouldn't. And that's about channel switching. That's what they call it. Code switching. That's the term. Code switching. Code switching means changing your behavior depending on where you are or what you're doing.
So, okay. So right now you said code changing means to change your way based on situation,
That's right.
right? Yeah, but for example, I'm just trying to say the informal and formal. Okay, we can use informal somehow in work with colleagues and with people we know.
If
Right.
it's with people you know, then yeah, I would say yeah. But again, I still would consider the situation. So if I'm working with my best friend, he's my best friend, so I definitely will call him dude and bro and whatever, but maybe not at work. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
as soon as we go to the bar, now I can say dude or bro. But if we're at work, we're working, I'm not going to use that language. I need to use language that's appropriate and respectful for a work environment. So in that case, then no, I'll use his name, or I'll say, no, I'll just address him in a more formal work way. Okay, so it just depends on where you are. So if my best friend, he's my best friend, but we work together. Maybe he's my boss, right? So we're best friends outside of work. But at work, I still call him sir.
Yeah, you're right. My friend, who I was speaking about, his best friend is his boss. Okay, but when he was talking to him as informal way, he fired him.
Right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah. So the same thing is true with me and my students, right? So sometimes my students, they want to be really friendly with the teacher. And sometimes the teacher thinks, oh, well, I'll be friends with the students too, and that'll be good. No, that's a bad idea, because then somebody's going to cross that line. One day somebody's going to cross that line and they won't know. They'll be confused about whether they're supposed to be respectful to you or whether they can be casual with you. Right? So that's what I mean. You have to draw lines and make sure you make them clear. So even if you're working with your best friend at work, you talk like you're at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I think you're right in this. We should separate between normal life and also casual life.
Right.
Formal life.
Right.
But for sorry, some people trying to mix between them because they're trying to rest their mind. They try to use some words every time. So, but I'm trying to really to learn how to be casual when it's casual conversation, and also how to be formal. But yeah, I want a source, okay, to and this source have a lot of, for example, a schedule between a comparison between formal and informal, but better English and also simple English, okay. So, do you have a source or something like this to come?
Between formal English and common English, like is some like a website? Is that what you're looking for?
For example, yes.
That's a good question. I don't have anything that I can think of, but let me see what happens. Let me see if I can find something that might help you a little bit.
It's okay. Take your time. It's okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Let's see. Yeah, this is pretty good. Okay, so you can go to. Well, I'm going to try to see if I can give you this link. Maybe they'll be mad at me, but let's find out. Apple A, Apple C. There we go. So this one it's a page that gives you some basic ideas about English, informal English versus formal English. So you could say something like, our prices are going up this year, or you could say our prices are increasing. They both mean the same thing, but one is more formal. That's it. Okay. But there is no, this is only going to give you some very, very basic general terms. As far as I know, there is no official book or site that will tell you, here's casual English and here's formal English for every situation. No, that would be too hard.
No, I know, but some people before in this app, I was following them in my previous account, but for sorry, I lost my previous account. So they were also doing this. They are bringing some some comparison between better English and and casual one. Okay.
Right. So there's things like contractions and colloquialisms, right? So, we use more contractions when we're speaking more casually, and we'll use informal contractions like gonna, right? Going to is a contraction of gonna, right? Gonna is a contraction of going to, I should say. So more contractions, more colloquial language, more phrasal verbs, more slang and idioms, and more first-person pronouns. When you're more casual, we say I, but when we're more formal, we say we, There is one more page that I can give you that's also pretty good. This one is from Fluent U. So both of these pages are websites that should help you to kind of start to understand a little bit more about formal versus informal English.
So when I log in these sites, it will help me to have more information about what I said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should.
Yeah,
especially
nice.
the second one is really good. I'm just looking at it now, and this one here from Fluent U, it has some really good suggestions about how you can change your language from formal to informal. Okay, so definitely check out that one. That one looks really good.
Yeah, I see it also right now. I think it's good also. You're right. Yeah, so someone else could be. I'm sorry for. I know that I'm talking to you a lot, but I prefer to talk to you, as you know, because you're a good teacher. Thanks for everything. So my question right now is, do you see that AI will suit our life in the future?
Do I see that? What? I'm sorry about the future. What?
Okay. What's your opinion about AI? If is AI will suit our
AI,
future?
Right? AI is definitely going to change a lot of things. There's no doubt about that. I'm sure that the world that I live in now is not going to be the world that I live in 5 years or 10 years. That things are going to change drastically because of AI now. Because right now, the AI is still right in the beginning. We still haven't even gotten it to be really good yet. Wait till it's really good. When it's really good, you'll be able to say, for example, Mahmoud, sometimes I use ChatGPT to help me write posts for English, right? So I'll say, write a post for me about simple past tense in English, and it will give me a pretty good post. And then I will read it and then edit it and change it just a little bit to be more like me and to make any corrections that I need. But that usually would take me a couple of hours to do, and now I can do it in 5 minutes. Okay? And soon there'll be much more than that too. So let's put it this way. When we created computers, that was a major change in human evolution that gave us opportunities to store and access large amounts of information easily. But AI is now going to give us access to that large amounts of information much, much more easily because you'll just be able to ask it a question. So before we would ask Google, and Google would give us a bunch of web pages, and then you would have to read the web pages to find the answer. But now you'll just be able to say, what is evolution? And it will explain everything to you. It'll tell you everything you need to know about it, right? So for practicing your English, you can use ChatGPT, and it is very good for practicing your English. So talk to it. Yeah, talk to it. Just have a conversation and say, how are you today? And just ask anything you want to ask and see what it says. Okay? But what most people want to know when they ask me about AI and ChatGPT is, do you think that it's going to, like everybody's going to lose their job? I think many people will. Yeah, I think there will be many people who do lose their jobs. And I think the secret to not losing your job in the future is going to be versatility. Versatility. Are you a versatile person or are you not a versatile person? Are you singular? So, for example, Professor Mahmoud, there are many English teachers, but there are not many English teachers who are also drummers. There are not many English teachers who are also drummers and can cook. There are, as far as I know, there's only one English teacher who's a drummer, a cook, and can speak Chinese. Okay, so I am unique because I have a unique set of background experiences. Okay, so at least in the near future, in the next 5 to 10 years, I don't think you have to worry about losing your job if you can be creative and versatile. If you have multiple talents, then you'll be okay. If you only have one, that's a problem.
Yeah. Someone asked in the comments, ChatGPT can teach?
It can teach some things, but okay, put it this way. It can teach you, but you have to be smart enough to understand that it might not always be right, or maybe it's not always great. So again, what's the best way to learn? Every way is the best way to learn. So yeah, ChatGPT and AI technology is the most incredible technology that humanity has had in our entire existence. It's the most amazing technology we've come up with yet. So yes, you should try to find ways to use it to help you in anything you can. And yeah, it can help you with language learning. Sure, it can. It can help you with anything. So Kiki says it can't teach. It can't teach well, but it can teach. Okay? It's not going to be able to do what I do. No, it cannot teach you the way I can teach you, but it can give you help. It can help. All right? So why would you want to turn away that help? Why not accept that help? Okay? But you just need to just think about ChatGPT like Wikipedia. Wikipedia is useful. If you want to know about something, you can go to Wikipedia and find it very quickly. But is Wikipedia 100% correct or accurate? No, it's not. Same thing with ChatGPT. Okay? But it will improve. That's the difference. Is ChatGPT and AI is going to get better the more you use it. So Gunter says, ChatGPT can't do my job. That's for sure. Not yet, Gunter, but in the future, I probably think it might, because all it will, a lawnmower is a relatively simple machine with relatively simple technology. So as soon as it has the ability to scan a broken lawnmower and find the broken piece, and then know what to do, if you connect that to a robot, yeah, it can do your job. I'm sorry to say. But, it might not be able to do it as quickly as you, though, because, Gunter, you have been doing it for so long, you have experience it doesn't have. But it can learn experience far faster than we can. That's the problem. That humans, when we learn from experience, it takes us time. Computers, when they learn from experience, it doesn't take any time. They learn like that. Things that take us 10 years to learn, they can learn in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think okay, you're right. But what would happen to people in the future? What should they do for avoiding such as the quitting of their jobs or something like this?
Well, the thing I would tell you is you need to be versatile. You need to be talented and versatile. And put it this way, Mahmoud, there's a saying in English: being the same as everybody is the same as being nobody. So
You're right.
if you choose to be just like everybody else, then you're nobody. You're easily replaceable. You're just like everyone else. But if you're unique and you're talented and creative, then you're special and valuable. So develop yourself as a person and make yourself special and valuable and multi-talented. Creativity that's the only thing that will compete with ChatGPT and AI. ChatGPT and AI don't understand creativity. So, for example, I don't think that ChatGPT will be able to make the connections that I make between what I learned in music. I learned things in music that now I apply to language learning. I don't think it's going to be able to make that kind of connection. Not yet, at least. Not for some time. Maybe in the future. But right now, I'm able to think about things that I learned in music and figure out creative ways to apply those to other ideas. That's where I think it can't do that. It doesn't have that kind of creativity. So creativity is the one thing ChatGPT doesn't have or AI doesn't have. It doesn't have any creativity. So that's why when you tell it to make art, right? Like the art AI, it's awesome, but it you have to tell it what to do. It won't just do it itself. Art is expression. It can't express anything because it doesn't have any feelings. Right?
Yeah, you're right.
So
I
creativity is the secret. AI can't do art because AI doesn't understand creativity yet. AI only understands creativity based on things like aesthetic things, not emotional things, not expressive things. It only understands aesthetic, which means how it looks.
Yeah, I think you're right in this, but we should have creativity to can be distinguished from another people in the future, because the future is for the genius people, of course, who can handle this, who can be
But,
in.
Many people are
adaptation.
worried. Many people are worried about this, but I think there's another way to look at it, too. Mahmoud, thousands and thousands of years ago, humans were hunter-gatherers. Hunter-gatherers, which means we lived by hunting and collecting food. We didn't grow anything. Not mostly. We mostly hunted and collected food. But that takes a long time. All day you have to go out and hunt for food. But when we made the change to growing food, that gave us time. We didn't have time before. Suddenly we had time to think and grow. Well, AI could give us a new... If AI is able to do some of these things that we had to do before, maybe that will give us new free time to be able to expand and grow more. So there's one way to look at AI that, yeah, it could be the downfall of society, but it is another way to look at it that it also could free us up from having to do some of the stupid things we have to do all day and allow us to think about more interesting things. Okay?
Yeah, I think you're right in this. We should take care of ourselves in the future because the future is so good.
Yeah, but
I see.
But here's the thing, Professor. I think that when people ask me about the future now, I will tell you this: no one knows. No one knows. We have reached a point now where technology is growing and increasing so much and so fast. It's impossible to tell you what the world is going to look like in 5 years. Right?
Yeah, we can look at Japan. Of course, we can see how the progression of Japanese people did. I think it's a kind of which will happen in the future. I think they did a lot of imagination things. For example, making a flying cars.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. Where's the flying cars I read about when I was a boy? I want to see some flying cars. We don't have those yet, right? So that's what I mean. Like, maybe AI could... There's a bad part that, if you were hoping that you could live in the world and just work at 7-Eleven, guess what? Those days are over. Okay, because, the job working at 7-Eleven where you're just paying money to somebody, no, that job is going to be gone soon. There's no need for that job anymore. You can get a computer that will do that work. Okay, and that's why there are many McDonald's in the world now where you just do it all on a computer. You just do that, okay? Because they can save money that way, all right? Now, that's not good for you because now you're out of a job, but... that is good for you if it forces you to go find something more creative to do. Because I don't think humans were meant to just do cashier work. Even the most basic human is more talented than cashier work. Okay. So I'm kind of hoping that some of these jobs that we've been doing for a long time, we won't need to do. Now, the problem is economics. That's the problem. The problem is not technology, actually. No, the problem is economics because people need money to live, to eat. So
but I want to say something. Okay, some people they are imagining that there will be machines that can show them the past and the future, what they are going to see. But I think they are foolish people. So, of course.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's not going to be anything that's going to be able to predict the future. Nope. No. As a matter of fact, that's the only thing it should be able to tell you is there's no way to predict the future, because it will give you all the possibilities. It can give you all the possibilities, but it's not going to give you one. Okay, so if you ask AI what will happen to the world in 20 years, it could give you one possible scenario out of 1 million or 1 billion scenarios, but it can't give you the answer. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's a guessing, of course.
And that's because of the butterfly effect, everyone. The butterfly effect, what does that mean? That means when a butterfly flaps its wings and it pushes that air, it seems like that's nothing to you. That doesn't affect you at all. But that little butterfly flying in the air and pushing its wings, that affects everything in the world, no matter what you are. And the butterfly effect will increase more the more technology increases. So that means that it will become more and more difficult to predict the future because the future will become more and more the potential for the future will become greater and greater. If the potential is greater, you have more possibilities, then it's harder to predict.
Yeah, I think I have something before I know from my religion. Okay, it says astrologers lied even if they said one or two thing will happen. If they said something it will happen in the future, this thing happened, also they lied because they just guessing.
Right. Right. It is just guessing. Right. And David here said, AI will be a super danger in the future. It's already a menace now. It will just kill meritocracy. Meritocracy means basically like the work you did was what you earned. You know, how your work is what you earn, right? So how you work is how you earn. And you're right, David. It will kill some meritocracy, I think. But I don't think it will kill all meritocracy. I just think it will kill the meritocracy that, quite honestly, wasn't very meritocratous in the first place. So, David, we all know someone who has a lot of money and they think they really earned it. Like, I worked hard, but you didn't work that hard. You have a lot of money, but you did not work that hard. So your idea of meritocracy is completely arbitrary. It's totally arbitrary, and it's based on your own sense of ego. Yeah, I deserve all this because I did work hard. I worked harder than everybody in the world. That's so egotistical to say, you know? So, yeah, I think that AI will kill a lot of meritocracy, but quite frankly, I'm looking forward to that because there's a lot of people who walk around on this planet right now like they're so big and important because they have money, but they don't work hard and they don't really have any real talent. They just have money. I am looking forward to when that meritocracy is gone. The ability to earn money without talent, I'm happy to see that go. So yeah. So like I said, I think there are some good aspects and some bad aspects, but the one thing that I do know is that I don't know. The one thing I do know is that the future is completely unpredictable. We have no idea what 5 years is going to look like. So, Professor Mahmoud, many people used to ask, you know, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's a
the question is
that's a stupid question to ask anymore. Maybe you can ask where are you going to be in 1 year, but no one knows what's going to happen in 5 years. Look what happened with COVID.
No, I want to ask a question really. Why 5? Why just 5? Why not 3? Why not 4? Why not 6?
Right.
7?
Yeah, I know. It's so arbitrary, right? You know, why 5 years? Yeah, maybe 6 years. In my mind, maybe I think in 6 years I'm going to be famous, but not in 5. You know?
Yeah, I also am asking a question here in this app. Some people, they're asking for a call to call some another people to can brags for 13 minutes or 16 minutes. I'm sure, but why 11 minutes? Why 13? Why 16?
Yeah, right.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why use these numbers?
It's usually arbitrary. Yeah.
Yeah, but really, why these numbers? Really, what's the idea?
Who knows? I don't think there's anyone who knows. But Mahmoud, I'm going to have to let you go because it's about time for me to go. But thank you so much for coming back and talking to me again.
Okay, last question.
Okay,
last
go
question.
ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I want to ask you about books or topics that can, for example, teach you grammar and also like topics can teach you grammar without using the grammar itself, as you know.
Oh wow!
So without using sorry, for example, the present simple says this and this and this. So understand me. I will show you. Okay, how? Okay. For example, some topics can give you information about something. Okay, without explaining this something. For example, when a teacher teaches grammar for the first tense, okay, this says its present simple tense. Its usage is, for example, this and this and this, and its its definition as this. No, I'm not. I don't want this thing. I want as a topic. I want, for example, they can, for example, teach grammar as topics. Understand me?
I'm not sure I do understand you, Mahmoud. Grammar, everyone English grammar. English grammar is not easy. And the reason English grammar is not easy is because when they wrote the rules for English English was only considered a native language. It was not considered a world language. So, anytime you read the rules of English language, they're very confusing because they're not simplified. They're written for somebody who's a native speaker. So it's hard for you to understand. Okay? So, that's why I have two books. I use two different grammar books. Okay, so I have one grammar book that's like the best grammar book out there. It has all of the information that you need, it has every answer, every question, but it's boring. It's the most boring, dry, terrible book. So I have another one that I use that is a lot more simple and easy, and it has cartoons for you to understand and a lot of exercises for you to practice to help you understand what to do. So I use two grammar books when I teach grammar. I use the one that has everything, but then most of my students, when they try to read that to understand it, they can't. It's too hard. So then we look at the other one.
Yeah, I mean, for example, some teachers teaches grammar as, for example, they say they are explaining it's everything individually. Everything individually.
Right. I don't do that. No, I don't do that.
Yeah, I don't do that. That's what I mean. I just mean something to teach grammar as you are saying a topic, as you are reading a topic.
Yeah. Again,
right?
Yeah, Mahmoud, there are many, many ways to do it. There's not just one way that's the right way or the wrong way. That's one way to do it. It doesn't really matter what way you do if that way works for you. Okay, so that's again why I say be a creative learner. You're asking me for if this way is good or that way is good. And both ways could be good. It depends on you. I don't know. If that works for you, it's good. Might not work for me, though. Okay? So that's why you have to try different things. Okay? But with grammar is a brick wall, and you have to hit your head against it until you break down the wall. That's what grammar is. Yeah, that's exactly how grammar feels like in any language. I don't care what language it is. Grammar is this annoying wall, and you have to hit it with your head over and over until you break that wall down. That's how grammar feels. It feels like, something that's preventing you from doing the language because it's in the way. But that's why I don't focus on grammar that much. I try not to think about grammar that much. I know it's important, but not that important.
Yeah, I'm not saying just for grammar. I'm saying grammar as example. I just, for example, need some topics that can help me in English in general.
Well, yeah.
Give me informations.
Any
informations and idioms, informations, idioms, something like this.
Well,
so just some topics only.
Well, then I would say go to my moments section, Mahmoud. I have over 2,000 moments posted on HelloTalk about idioms and grammar and vocabulary and culture. Go there and look at that. I'm not sure I understand your question, Mahmoud. It's kind of vague. Your question is too vague. I can't answer a question so vague. Mahmoud, grammar is a pain in the ass. That's all you need to know is grammar is a pain in the butt and that it takes a lot of hard work. And I don't care what way you use to break down that wall. If it works for you, then use it. So I can't tell you what way is best. I can only tell you have to break down the wall any way you can. So you figure it out. If that's working for you, then great. Then do that. But don't tell everybody that that's the way for everyone, because that isn't the way for everyone. That's the way for you. Okay?
Yeah, I feel you. Okay. Thanks for this.
That's okay. Look,
Mark.
grammar is difficult, everybody. Grammar is the thing that makes you feel like you can't learn the language. That's why I think about it like a wall. It's a wall that gets in the way of you trying to actually use the language because you're thinking too much. But, Mahmoud, when you walk, do you think about each muscle that you move in your body? No, and that's what language is supposed to be. You're not supposed to think about language and then think, oh, well, I just said a sentence in present perfect. Ha 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 ha. No, you're just supposed to express yourself. And all this grammar garbage is not supposed to be in your head at all when you speak. Okay? So that's why I hate grammar questions, because if you're thinking about grammar so much, you're not thinking about speaking the language. You're focused on analyzing the language, and that's not the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, these days I'm practicing English as a language, not just a language for teaching. No, as a language to speak, because I want to speak it a lot, because I have a lot of work. Depends on my speaking, not just analyzing or teaching students. No, I'm not teaching right now, so I'm trying to learn English as a language. Understand me?
You're doing well. You're doing just fine, Mahmoud. Just, remember what I said. Some people, when they learn, they're just trying to find their way to the top of the mountain. Okay? But when I learn, I don't want to find just one path to get to the top of the mountain. No. I want to know the mountain itself. I want to know every way to the top of the mountain. So, learning for some people is just about getting to the top, and that's it. But learning for me is about knowing the mountain. It's about being a guide that knows all of that mountain, not just one way up to the top. All right?
Yeah.
All right, Mahmoud, I need to go because I'm starving. I'm hungry. My stomach is growling.
It's okay. You can come. Okay, you can come, and I will cook for you, Mark. Don't worry.
I would love that, man. I would love that. But thank you, Mahmoud, for coming on my stage, and please make sure to come back and see me again, okay?
Yeah, of course, but I want you to beat me again.
All right, take care, my friend. I'll see you next time.
Oh, thanks, my friend. Thanks.
Okay, what did I miss in the comments here? I'm sorry, everybody. That was a pretty long conversation. I do need to go here soon because I have an appointment here soon. But let me see. Did I miss anything important? Abdel says, I believe the best way to learn grammar is by studying it in context rather than learning it in isolation, I think is what you're going to say. Yeah. Jean-Franc, I'm sorry, my friend. Okay. You have 5 minutes, Jean-Franc. 5 minutes, and then I must go. Everybody wants to talk to me all the time, but I can't talk to everybody all the time. Jean-Franc, I'm inviting you. Can you come up? I'm trying to invite you to the stage. I don't know why. It doesn't look like it wants to. Oh, there he is. Jean-Franc, are you there? There he is. Hello, my friend.
Hello, man. Glad to see you.
Good to see you, too.
It's been a while.
Yeah, how's the job been going?
Well, the job is going well. I've been in the company for 2 months.
Good for you.
They were training me during this time, and because this is customer service.
Mm-hmm.
The training finished yesterday, and yesterday I started receiving phone calls.
Good for you.
I got my first phone call, And to be honest, I got nervous.
Well, that's
'Cause
normal. It's your first call.
But I realized that I'm struggling with numbers. Because in
Numbers.
this job, I really have to use numbers. And yesterday, I wanted to say an amount of money, and it was difficult for me,
Okay.
especially when there are big numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's actually not that hard to fix, though, John Frank. That's fair. That's pretty easy to fix. You just need to get a list of numbers and learn how to say them. So, really, John Frank, hold on. Let me see. Maybe I can help you. 1 second. So when you're talking about really big numbers, that's what you have trouble with, right?
Yeah, not only with that, just, and sometimes some clients are not so patient,
Of course.
and sometimes because when they're giving me it's a travel agency, right? So they give me information like the order number, and I have to look for that information on the system. And sometimes I'm not so fast enough as they want. And it's because this is not my native language.
Sure.
And I have to take more time to understand what they are requesting.
I understand that, John Frank, and, take some time.
Could you give me an advice to?
Yes. So first of all,
What can I tell the clients when they're not so patient, and when I'm just trying to do my best?
So first, let me tell you that you can go to YouTube and you can do a search for how to say big numbers in English, and there's a video, and there's a guy who explains it pretty well. So just type in a search for how to say big numbers in English on YouTube, and there's a good video for that. All right. But if you have an impatient customer, I think there
are two types of customer. There is one who is patient. There is another one who's not so patient.
Right. And that's that's just people. Yeah. And you know what, Jean Frank, that's why your job sucks. Because unfortunately, when you do customer service, 60% or more of the customers are jerks. They're not nice. They're rude. They're impatient.
Yeah, they're not.
So you have to have a tremendous amount of patience. You have to have a tremendous amount of patience. Okay. And then I would say, John Frank, you just need to try to tell them exactly what you just told me. Please, sir, please, ma'am, I'm doing my best to help you. I assure you, if you can just be patient with me, I will be able to help you. That's all. Please be patient with me.
Yeah.
I assure you I can help you if you can just give me a little bit of time. Okay? So that's all you can do. But they're still going to be rude to you. They're still going to be rude to you. At some point, they're still going to be rude to you. And if they are rude, I would just keep repeating the same thing over and over again. Yeah, honestly, that's really the only thing I would do is if they're continuing to be rude and they're not bringing it down, then I would just say, please, sir, I'm doing my best to try to help you. But make sure you try to sound try to sound super happy when you do it. Please, sir, I'm doing my best to help you. And I assure you, if you can just be patient, then I will help you. Smile when you say it.
Also, I'm trying to speak in a very professional way. It's like you said before when you were talking with the
The guy before,
the previously guest. I mean, when I'm talking to my friends, I talk in certain way. I speak in certain way. But when I'm talking to clients, I have to speak more
formal.
I try to speak more formal.
Right.
Yeah. This is customer service and this is my job. And
Jean-Frank, I am sure that you're going to do fine because, man, you're a nice guy. You radiate positive vibes. Okay, you radiate positive vibes. I can tell you're a positive person. You have a good smile. So if you just radiate that positivity on your calls as much as you can, and that's the hard part, just remember that every time someone is being rude to you, that's what you're getting paid for. Right? The rest of your job is actually really easy. When somebody calls and say, hey, I need some help with this very simple thing, and you say, okay, no problem, here. That's easy. You're not being paid for that. You're being paid for the guy who's a jerk. Okay? So
when you say the guy who's a jerk, what does it mean?
A jerk means a jerk is a bad person who's mean and rude. Okay, so it's just if you just say he's a jerk or she's a jerk, that just means a person who's not nice. They're not polite. They're being unreasonable. They're being unreasonable.
Someone who's yelling at me.
Right. Yeah. And Jean-Frank, look, at some point, I think you need to draw a line. So continue to be patient. Continue to say, please, sir, I assure you, if you can just be a little bit more patient, then I will help you. I assure you. Keep saying that. But at some point in time, if you've already said that 5 times, then maybe I don't know what you're allowed to say. I'm not sure what they tell you you're allowed to say, but maybe you could say, if it's getting out of control, if they're really becoming upset and it's too much, either give them to somebody else, call your supervisor and say, hey, this person is out of control, deal with them. Or you can just say, ma'am or sir, I would be happy to help you. Perhaps it would be best if I give you a call back in 20 minutes after we've both calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, and the
like
company,
that.
they told us that if we are talking with a client who's being mean and rude to us, we can tell them, please, sir, I'm trying to help you.
Right.
Can you be more polite? And we can give them 3 warnings.
Well, then, yeah, after 3 warnings, right, then I would just say, I'm sorry, sir, I'm not able to help you.
Yeah, after 3 warnings,
right.
I can hang up.
Jean-Frank,
the phone.
There's a great picture that I love to show sometimes, and it says this. Let me show it to you. It's great. Check this out, everybody. So in America, I saw this sign. I thought this was great. It says, small coffee, $5. Small coffee, please, $3. Hello, 1 small coffee, please, $1.75. So what does that mean?
Yeah, it means that if you are polite,
right,
it's
cheaper.
I'm gonna do my best.
That's right. That's right. If you're polite, I'm going to help you more. If you're not polite, then I'm not going to help you. And that's what you have to say at some point in time. If they've already crossed the line 3 times, then you have to say, ma'am or sir, if you cannot be polite and patient, then I cannot help you.
Yeah.
And any human being should understand those words and know what they mean. Okay?
Yeah.
So 3 times, then you should say, at some point you just have to say, if you can't be polite to me, then I can't help you.
Another thing that I'm struggling with is sometimes, because I'm not only handling with native speaker, I'm also handling with non-native speaker. And yesterday, well, it was an Arabic person, and he was giving me a number, a large number, and that number has a dash in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
For example, he was saying 40 line, which means dash, 40 dash, 05, whatever.
Okay, right.
But he was saying line. He was saying line.
Line and not dash.
I spent like almost 10 minutes.
Just trying to understand what line means.
Looking for because I thought he was saying 9. You
right.
know?
Yeah.
I thought he was saying 9.
Right. Okay.
But he was trying to say dash.
Okay, but guess what, Jean-Franc? That's actually an easier situation. That's an easier situation, Jean-Franc. Oh, Jean-Franc, I don't know why I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, weird.
Now?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you now. But what I was going to say is, if you're talking to somebody who doesn't speak English as their first language, that should be easier. Because you can tell them, you can say, hey, look, English isn't your first language, and English isn't my first language either. So we both need to work with each other a little bit. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, just that should be easier, I think, you know? So that's just a miscommunication, man. He doesn't know the word dash. He only knew the word line, and he was trying to explain it to you, but you didn't understand. That's one of those things you should laugh about. You should be like, oh, now I know. You mean dash. I'm sorry. I didn't know that word either. But yeah, you can say dash. You can say 50-22-595- blah, blah, blah. Just go ahead and teach him and then laugh about it.
The funny thing is, I knew the word line, but I thought he was saying
9.
Number 9.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's miscommunication for you, and it's going to happen, you know. So I think you handled it fine, you know. But Jean-Franc, those things are going to happen to you every day because you're going to be talking to people every day. Okay?
Yeah.
And so,
I'm going to be talking to people every
right.
day.
And so there's going to be miscommunications, and there's going to be problems that happen, and you just have to try to laugh about the easy ones and let go of the hard ones. Okay? So when somebody's a real pain in your ass, just let it go, walk away, leave it be. Once you hang up the phone, take a deep breath. Hang up the phone and just go, all right, that's done. Next. Okay? Like, just, you know, take a deep breath and let it go. All right?
Yeah.
Jean-Franc, I really
Thank
do
you
need
for
to
your
go because
advice.
I'm so hungry. But thank you for coming back and telling me about your job, and I'm really glad it's going well for you. Just keep it up. You're doing fine. You will be fine. Just be patient. Be patient and do your best, and that's all you can do. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Jean-Franc.
For your advice. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, my friend. All right, well, good luck to you. I'll see you next time, Jean-Franc.
See you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care.
All right. Let me see. Did I miss anything? All right. I think that's about it, everybody. So I do need to go. So I will be back on Saturday. So I'll see you guys on Saturday. Come back and see me again on Saturday. All right. Make sure you hit the share button and the follow button. I have about 48,000 followers, but I need a lot more. So please, if you like what I'm doing and you think I'm being helpful, then if you want me to help you, then you must help me. if you want me to help you, you must help me. Okay? All right, everybody. I will see you guys next time. See you on Saturday. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening wherever you are in the world. And don't be afraid. Be a language warrior, right? There's no scared. There's no afraid. There's no shyness in language learning. All right? Follow me, Cheney. Follow me and you'll see my schedule. Okay? Go to my profile and you'll see it at the top pinned on my profile. Okay? All right. I will see you guys next time. Thanks again. Bye, language warriors.